Well, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. I was in X jail yesterday. I don't know if you guys realize that or not, but I must have retweeted something that they put me in jail for 12 hours. I'd never been in X jail before. I'm wondering if anybody else has been in X jail before. What a pain in the ass. I couldn't retweet anything. I couldn't follow anybody back. Every time I went there, it's verification. Are you human? And you have 2 hours and 20 minutes left on your detention time. Yeah, I was in ex-jail detention. That's what it felt like. So I know some people had some problems not hearing the space. I'm not sure how it ever worked out. I'm not sure how the Rumble recording sounded, but it sounded like it was in and out. So today's a big day. Hey, it's tax day today, right? April 15th, tax day. Oh, boy. You'll hear the people in here crying, I had to write a check. You know, it's the first year I owed a little bit. It's all good. It was only a little bit, but usually we're used to this big refund, and it didn't happen. A lot of drain on the system this year. Well, and good morning, Julie. I'm doing good. What's the outlook? Hey, it's a great day to be an American.
It is a great day to be American, and it's beautiful. And summer and spring are finally here. It was so nice to just sit out in my backyard and on my deck yesterday, and listen to tunes. And I touched some grass, and then I got some good sun on my face, and it was just very refreshing to stay away from all social media is basically what I did yesterday. I really, I went on a couple times, obviously, but I stayed away from spaces. I stayed away from any drama that's going on, and it was just beautiful. And it's really, I highly recommend it to everybody. And I'm sorry you got suspended. I didn't realize that.
Oh my gosh, the space was, half the time I was out of the space and I was back in, and then you could hear it all digitized in the background. It was messed up. So it was definitely, it was hard. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Ex jail. I don't know if anybody else been ex jail before, but it sucked. Oh, drama? Huh. Yeah, I know. Everybody sees what's going on, who's involved. I can tell you indirectly I may be implicated, but I am definitely out of that shit. I don't have anything to say about it. I don't have anything to contribute. I am going to pay attention to what I got in front of me and the hurdles I got as a community. Today the average view comes out here noontime. So it's a great day. That's the way I'm looking at it.
No, it is a good day. It is a good. I'm not saying that you had anything to do with yesterday. I just had to stay away, and it was very nice, and it was good. And other than this space, I probably will be staying away from everything else. But beside that, there's lots of things going on. I think I put it in the purple bubble. I just wanted to put it out there again about New Jersey. Thought it was great. Dawn Fantasia, she schooled a bunch of lawyers and again told them, why are we wasting the taxpayers' money here with you putting these ridiculous laws out that try to trump federal laws when you know you can't do it, but yet you do, and then it goes to court and it goes on the backs of the taxpayers' money. That it's their money. And you're all you're doing is causing trouble. And she put it out there. She's like, I used to be an English teacher. I'm not a lawyer, and I even know this. My fifth grade students knew this.
I'm pretty sure that I follow her on here.
Oh, she's great. She's for New Jersey 24, and she's just a fighter. Is she in the coalition there? I no, I don't think she is. No, I don't think she joined that. But I'll send you her account so you can see it.
Yeah.
She's really good. And then I don't know if anybody saw what Abigail Spanberger did yesterday by
Oh
signing
no.
into law
Wait.
13.
Just so everybody knows, she's the governor of Virginia.
Yes. And so she, now she is, it's being exposed how unpopular she really is and how people are, well, that maybe that voted for her are having buyer's remorse, but the people that didn't vote for her are, this is ridiculous. They still, it's the same thing with our governor. Like, how did this happen? And she signed into law yesterday, which again will be eventually shut down in the courts, but on the taxpayers' back. She signed into law yesterday that the 13 electoral votes from Virginia is going to go for the president who gets the most popular votes, not the electoral college like it was framed in the Constitution. No, she signed in that it's going to go the presidential candidate that gets the most popular votes. So again, this is what's going on. Other than the fact of what's going on with in the whole scheme of things in the world and President Trump's great accomplishment last night. However, these are the things that you have to watch in your states, that this is what they're trying to pull. And they get away with it for so long until they go to these courts and they get up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court goes, oh, no. This can't happen. But that takes a long time to happen. So I put that in the pill too.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, you know what? We have our own struggles right here in New Jersey. When people realize that these people are all in lockstep. I mean, the governor of Virginia and our governor now were roommates in college, and you're going to tell me that they weren't selected here? I mean, it's easy to see, man. The communists have, you know what? The communists honestly kind of won.
Well, that's what's scary. And now I'm saying like I'm not saying that Swalwell would have been. I'm glad he's gone, and I'm glad he resigned effective immediately. He's gone, okay, and he's going to get his due process and what's going to happen to him. But look who now the front runner is for the Democratic Party. Now I know that Julie Butte was up here saying, and I hope that she's right, that the guy that she said is probably going to win, because the woman that Katie Porter, she's another one. She's another one.
Chad Bianco is her pick, right?
Well, no. I'm talking about for the Democratic side, though. She said there was
sorry.
another name she brought up, and I can't remember his name because I don't live in the state. But obviously she's the most glaring that you see of the Democratic Party. She's the one that made all the headlines a few months ago with found out she poured hot what was it? Mashed potatoes or something on her ex-husband, and then she was yelling at a staffer. It got all caught on camera, and just her policies again. Another one that's very, very far left. And this is what's taking over this party. And whether or not that it's cheating, whether they're being installed, I don't know. But it's starting to get a little scary. And this is what we have to take a hold of. And this is why it's so important that we take a hold of our states, because right now we don't have the strength in our legislature to make those laws. We have to fight the laws that they're trying to make, because that's what they're doing every single day. They're putting out this craziness, and it's just insane. Did you see Governor Mikey's going to raise the rates on New Jersey Transit? They're going to raise the rates to $100 a ticket. Like, it's an insane amount. But and then she's going to close it down for a couple of hours during the World Cup. Forget about the people that live in this state, like, that use New Jersey Transit. I guess they just get stuck.
Did you see the one they put out about her? They were going to change the color of the trains for what Mikey Sherrill's wearing. Did you see?
No, but I believe it. I know that they're changing the name of MetLife Stadium to New York, New Jersey stadium.
Brutal.
Again, putting New York first on our stadium that's in New Jersey, but the two teams that play in that stadium are from New York. Why is that? It should be the New Jersey Giants, my opinion.
Well, you're exactly right. That's right. And the Jets play there. And yep. You've been to MetLife.
My father, I told you about the whole thing when that was first,
Yeah.
when it was Giants Stadium, when it was originally Giants Stadium, that was all my father surveyed all that. Before the racetrack was there, that was a dump. It was an actual dump. So, that, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know it very well. Very well.
Well, hey, these are discussions that, hey, we're seeing local, and that's even more reason to push this Average View magazine, and it comes out today. And listen, if you guys just look at it like a sample and what we can actually do with this publication, not only individual states, but look at the fights that we're fighting every day. So hey, again, for me, it's a great day to be an American. So,
It's a good day.
hey, maybe
One more thing, Marlon, guys. If you can go down to the
Sure.
Purple Bubble, like and reshare it. And then if you can, please go over to Rumble and YouTube and give it a thumbs up over there. It's being live streamed out there so that other people might be able to hear this because it's important, especially locally, man. You have to get involved in your states. This is what's happening. We have to go, these things are getting rammed through quickly because there's a lot that's going on federally in the big picture, and everybody's looking at that and forgetting to look at their own states. And so this magazine that's coming out is going to be important. It's just all important to be involved with locally. It's very important, guys.
Well, let's say hello to Brecca, and then we'll go and say hello to Jeff.
Oh, good morning from California. Regarding California politics, yeah, we got a bunch of monsters on the Democrat side. I think what you were trying to recall, the John Steyer or Stayer. He's another one that's running, and they're kind of looking at him instead of Katie Parker, and he's a Looney Tune too. So yeah, pray for us, guys. And yeah, and yeah, we got a bunch of crazies out here in California. But love to you all, and I'll step down for a sec.
Well, it's great to see you, and thanks for coming up, Brecca. And hey, maybe California is going to get a slap in the face here. They got a lot going on. Gruesome Newsom and Swallowwell, and oh man, the drama's thick.
Yeah, and that other guy is going to get into it too. I mean, that video is going viral now. I know there's a lot of AI stuff out there now too, but that supposed best friend of his, that Brecca that's out there, also that Ruben Gallego, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's from Arizona. Yeah, he's cuckoo too.
Yeah, I think he's up there, right up there with him, and supposedly he's in that video with Swalwell with the hooker. Like I said, there's a lot of AIs now. They're enhancing things, but he's really backpedaling, trying to get himself out of that, really throwing Swalwell under the bus now. It's just amazing to see when they eat their own.
Well, what's amazing is the Democrats have to see this, right? These are the people that they put out in front of America. He was part of the commission to send Trump to the prison and impeach the man twice. And, he's been his biggest nemesis there, right? So, you know what? Swallowwell, he's probably getting and swallowing everything that he's put out here. So I don't feel bad for him, I can tell you. The Fang thing, I think that'll come out. Take back. How you doing? What's up, dude? Welcome up. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday it is, Marlon, and thanks for the mic. I just want to let you guys know that a group that I am somewhat connected with, like second away, they filed papers to call grand juries to hold people accountable, bad actors in government. They literally filed papers in the court to call the grand jury. I want to say people's grand jury, but it's not necessarily necessarily that, because the grand jury is the grand jury regardless. But excellent milestone we achieved, and we're going to figure out how to do this in every state, in every county.
You know what? Hey, we got to you know what? Take this as the perfect example to really show people what you can do. So hey, well, you know, and I know sometimes people get frustrated because you come in and you give them the ways, and you know the frustration part of it. Again, some people you have to feed, and some people you have to spoon feed. So maybe another example down the line here, and people are going to be like, "Holy shit, we can do this in Jersey! Holy shit, we can do this in North Carolina!" So yeah, we need the updates. We need and definitely put that group on blast here, and yeah, we'll get it out the best we can.
Yeah, you know, that is the thing. You know, people won't act unless they know or they're sure that they're doing the right thing. And so it's education, but somebody has to be the pioneer to establish that process. And this group is doing it. And as soon as we can document it and get the procedure down so that everybody can understand it, then we'll certainly get it out there. Thank you.
Where did they file that lawsuit? What is it? A particular county?
Yeah, it's a county in Oklahoma. I don't remember the exact name of the county, but yeah, there's an X space on it last night, and I was on there. I was on it, and I'll have to listen to it again to get all the details and document it.
Hey, that's when this app is effective, right? You have to show people examples, show them the process. Even if you told them 20 times until they see that sample, they're not gonna do anything about it. And then maybe at one point they're gonna wake up with an epiphany. It's gonna be a slap across the face and be like, "Oh my God, how have we missed this all this time?" We'll see. We need to gather the evidence. Again, it's participation. Can't stand up there by yourself.
Right, and that's what it was. It was a group of people. It wasn't just one person. And when you start reading the constitutions of the 50 states, Article 1, Article 2, the Bill of Rights or Declaration of Rights, you see what your place is. That we're the boss of the government, and it tells you how to be the boss. And so these people have read all those. More, I haven't read them all myself, but once you start reading a few of them, and then you see the pattern, and that's when you get the confidence to go further. And these people have researched it deeply about where the grand jury is identified and who has control over the grand jury, and they found the documents where it says that, and they made it happen. So congratulations to them and for
Amen.
us, because now when we get into these spaces and we talk about it, we can educate other people about it and spread that nationwide. It's awesome.
Awesome take back, you know, and you have you have two people right above you, and you have, you know, all these people from New Jersey that come in here that would stand behind you if we can get that together for our state. And I really would also like to tell everybody, like I said just before you came into the space, or you might have heard before you came up, about what Abigail Spanberger's doing. And I think there's a lot of heat on her, and there's a lot of eyes on that. And I think you're going to start to see stuff like this going on in Virginia with recalls, because I think they're starting to look like, wait a minute, this is not what we voted for. This is not at all what's going on. And I think we should just really keep an eye on that too. People from Virginia, guys, keep your eyes on this, and don't stop. And if you need any help, you know, you've got people that you can talk to here.
Well, hey, and that was the number one reason why I wanted to reach back out to Barbara here. I think, hey, getting these people coordinated inside of each one of our counties, and if there's any suggestion out there, that's where your power lies. Don't start anywhere else. You start your local. That's where your power, as you could see, as a constituent inside of that county, that's where your power is. You have the most amount of power in Camden County. I have the most amount of power in Gloucester County. We have to determine this and get the people rallied. And Barbara's exactly the person to do that.
Good. I'm glad you made contact with her. But we have to watch the recall. If you read the Constitution, it said the constitutions of all the states. It says we can alter or reform the government anytime the public needs requires it. We don't have to use the recall in the statutes.
Yeah.
This is the one thing that we have to understand. We don't have to use the statutes unless we want to use the criminal statutes and have somebody arrested and tried for criminal activities. That's when you use the statutes, because you're using the statutes against the public officials, the servants, if when they're stepping out of line. You don't use the statutes against the people. The people are free and independent. We have inherent God-given rights.
Let's see what comes out of this county in Oklahoma. I think anybody from Oklahoma should really be keying in on it. But once they make a state precedent, it's going to be very infectious throughout the other states. That's more of the idea here, right? You know, we've heard of Maricopa County, we've heard the county in Alaska, Michigan. Now you're starting to tally these counties up, and there's more and more examples out there. As soon as these examples start bleeding to these other states, and we're just the platform to do it, right? That's the better part. You know, I know sometimes it's a little ridiculous on this app, but unfortunately, the world is listening to this app. There's no other social media besides Truth Social that is commented more than X. If you look at every news story, everybody is looking at X. So this is a great place to start. Like the U.S. Army, it's a great place to start. I'm in a great mood today. Come on, put them up. I just got out of jail. I got out of X jail a couple hours ago. Anybody else ever been in X jail?
Nope. I've lost an account, but I haven't been in X jail.
So
Same.
yeah, it's kind of like Take you want to?
Same here. I lost an account, but I wasn't in jail. Now I have 4 accounts and only one's banned.
Well, I'll tell you, maybe I'm lucky. Maybe the enemy just hasn't gotten to me yet. But for me, this is the only profile that I ever had. So hey, I'm again we've worked hard for that profile and the little flag that we have planted. So we'll see. Today's a great day. I want to make sure that hey, we're highlighting some of the successes. And then to give people an opportunity on where their voice can go. See, that's the better part, right? We're not talking about a Politico that's a pay-to-play magazine or illustration. You know, this is something that when you go to your local and you expose this magazine and give people an outlet, well, damn. You know what? Wow. Hey, we're working with a publication that, number one, can't be censored online. That's the best part. So once we take the gloves off here, we got a lot of work to do in the background, and there's a lot of logistics to get this thing going. I know this ain't just hey, let's just put our ideas and put a magazine out there. Shit don't happen like that, right? There's a lot of things going on in the background to protect this voice. So again, remember, in 3 years, Trump walks out of that office. No matter who goes in power there, we're protected. And that's the best part about it. This isn't the sprint. This is the marathon, and I think we're set up for the marathon. Hey, maybe we.
Marlon, just real quick, Brandy and Carmen and all the people that are working on the trafficking. Just think what this could do to the trafficking. It could stop it almost in months. Once you get the first indictment, they talk about Save the Children. I mean, this is a phenomenal step in the right direction.
They have to understand what they're seeing, how to present it the correct way, and like you said, as soon as this infection starts in some of these states, it's going to be pretty hard to stop it. And once average Americans can really, hey, number one, understand what's going on, maybe have an arm to be able to get your story out or your issue or your fight. I think that's what it's about. I'm again, I'm pleasantly I'm in a great mood this morning.
Yeah.
So I,
These people have been documenting all this stuff. Once they create the affidavits and of fact and submit those to the grand jury, that's all we need. That's awesome.
well, we'll definitely see here. So hey, let's maybe we can say hello to a couple of people. I know Brandy jumped up. Let me say hello to Truth. Truth, how you doing this morning? Happy Wednesday, and it's a great day to be an American. Then we'll go to you, Brandy, and then Jeff.
Yo, morning. I like seeing Advocate in here. They Brandy had a great space last night. I only unfortunately caught the tail end, but go back and listen. But I know everybody was giving praises, and rightfully so, to Miss Advocate. So it's good to see her in here, and Brandy as well. But yeah, good morning. We had our Bible study last night. That was pretty cool. I saw you in there for a minute there, Marlon, but I know you jumped over to Brandy's space. But
Well, I was in X jail yesterday. It happened during the space here, and they put me in X jail. So it was a total pain in the ass to try and keep that space going yesterday. I was having all kinds of problems, and I was in X jail for 12 hours or something stupid. So I couldn't repost a thing. I couldn't follow anybody back. I couldn't comment. I couldn't do anything. So yeah, I definitely stopped in yours. I stopped in Brandy's. But hey, Brandy's up here. Brandy, how you doing? Great space.
well, hey, did you get your orange jumpsuit, and did you do the prison flush while you were in, bro?
I feel like I just came off of 12 hours of sobriety, right? Anyway, again, hey, Brandy, how you doing?
I'm just wondering what you looked like in those orange or those whites. And did you starch them when you walked around the rec yard? Just wondering. What
Well, I
did
can tell you, I didn't have my orange jumpsuit hanging down with my pants on the ground. No.
Thank you, Lord. Well, I'm just curious what you did to get into X jail. I mean, I would have thought we would probably be in there by now, but I'm not going to try to get in there. I'm staying above board. So, good morning, Marlon. And thank you for coming in our space, Truth and Marlon. All of y'all, just want to say it was an amazing space. We talked like we have for 105 episodes, all about safety of kids and how to protect them. And Brian Gamble came in, who has actually worked trying to get CSAM and porn off of X and has worked already directly with Elon on these types of things. He came in, we had a good discussion, gave me some pointers on where to go with what I'd like to do as far as proposing some changes, and we're going to be making that happen in the background. Already contacted our investigation team and our admin team for Shepherd's Watch. Told them about talking with Brian, and we're going to move on this. We're going to do whatever we can to set some parameters up so that maybe this won't happen again. So we're really excited. Good things always come out of stuff that others might see as bad. There might be a lot of squabbling between certain people, but at the end of the day, protecting the kids is most important. That's all I care about. So that's what we're going to do. It's exciting.
Definitely a step in the right direction, Brandy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, anybody that's been on here for a minute, they understand in the evolution. This drama will soon pass, just like everybody else, Brandy. And then you know what? You're stuck here with the pieces. So before people let this consume them, you know, let's pick up the pieces early. Let's put this to the side. There's no reason to be talking about this. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it ranks right up there with the Palestine-Israel talk. That discussion is done.
And the protect the children discussion will never be done, right? And I just,
Never.
you know, I'll say this real quick as well, and I'm not going to I don't call names of anything, but I will say if people don't stop taking mics in every space or listening in spaces and then going and taking a mic in a space to try to stir up more drama because they share what they hear in another space and they may take it out of context and all that stuff, it will keep going. So we just got to start blocking out the people who are feeding the drama, and I do think we will get to a better place. And I am in absolutely no way talking about any host or co-host that have had spaces on either side. I'm talking about people that listen and decide to go stir up drama with their big spoon, like a cup of coffee. I have seen that as of last night. Just want to say that out loud. So we're going to put a stop to that. There's no need for people stirring drama at all.
Well, you know what? I think, hey, we've done a good job at trying to keep as focused as possible about the things that we're working on, the child trafficking end, the ARA beef, We Are the People, the View magazine, you know, the windmills, the green energy process, building the communities to be able to get this out. That's what I need to concentrate on. I hope everybody else will too.
Absolutely, and thank you for always having that focus, Marlon. That's all that matters. We, the people, must save America and the children, no doubt.
Oh yeah, and look, you know, I've been in the fight this entire time. A lot of the things and moves that hey we've highlighted throughout the years has been motivated by that. I was touched and moved in so many different ways. How like that when that experience came down of Sound of Freedom, that was something that I had never felt before. And you know what? I've never forgotten that. How vulnerable I really was on those spaces and how upset it really made us. But at the end of the day, if we don't hike our skirts up and put this rhetoric and smoke to the side, you know, you couldn't possibly understand or keep focused. You know, having a small business, a lot of the times you have to do this. I can't tell you how many times I've started over. Oh my God, look at all the mess. Clear the table, and you know what? You start your foundation over. I can't tell you how many times me and my wife have started over. And you know what? That's what it takes. Resolve. There's an intestinal fortitude gift there. Some people don't understand it.
100%. Just keep going, Marlon. Keep going. And truth.
Well, again, sometimes it's not the sexiest talk, but these are things that we've been talking about. You know, they're foundational things. Labor gap, kids, getting kids back into the workforce. If I could advocate for one thing, it would be that. And then I would think that some of these other problems, this abduction problem, this child trafficking, human trafficking, you know, people are saying, what's President Trump doing? You know, there's a statistic out there about the amount of fentanyl that has really been cut down on the amount of flow into the United States. It's down by like 80%. It's something ridiculous. And, you know, I wonder, it's kind of like the child trafficking thing, right? When you cut the supply off, what happens then, right? You know, do they turn and eat their own? You know, that's what we see in the inner cities, right? You know, you know, so now you've taken some of the fentanyl, this synthetic opiate, out of the equation. Now you're going to make these people turn on their own. Maybe crime rate's going to go up a bit. I mean, people, the only reason I say this is if you took a daily drive through Southwest Philly, you will see these people in the corner. They are
New text message.
broken people, broken, right? You can see them. They're zombies. This isn't just at Southwest Philly. This is across America. That's what I see. Brandy, go ahead, then we'll go to Jeff.
If you take away the supply, the demand will still be there. The demand equals the supply. So the demand also has to be taken away, right? The network has to be taken away. The uncle who everybody keeps sweeping under the rug because he keeps molesting family members, but no one wants to say anything because you're about to get me heated, because it tarnishes the family name. No, you take away the demand, there will be no supply. That's how it works, people. And you said one more thing, I want to say something. Yeah,
Sure,
well, you said one more thing that I want to say, I've never spoke on, but I was with a personal friend of mine this weekend for my birthday, and she has lost a child to fentanyl. Her child was addicted to pills, young adult child, not minor child. Was still living in the home though. They were very close. Was addicted to pills, got into pills as because they were injured in athletics as a minor, ended up addicted to opioids, ended up as a young adult addicted to opioids, decided that they were going to buy one more pill before they quit. Well, that pill was 100% fentanyl, 14 different kinds of fentanyl, was supposed to be Percocet. They took a quarter of that pill and died. Well, the success in this is me telling you that finally, I've actually now heard of a case where the person that sold that pill to that young adult now has a murder charge on them because they were able to track back who they bought it from and all the different things. And the supplier had bags of 100% fentanyl pills. So that's a good thing, at least, with a crisis that has happened like that, a detrimental one, that someone's actually going to be held accountable for that murder. That's exactly what we need to continue seeing as well.
Well, I think the administration has put it out there. I think there's some new guidelines that they're pressing on these independent, these DAs inside of your judicial system to start prosecuting some of this. Right? This is where the problem's been. You know, our government's very, very, how should I say, sympathetic. If you go to there's methadone clinics here across the state. These people are now collected around these centers, and unfortunately they're describing it as wellness centers, right? This is just a legal way for this addiction to keep going, right? I think there's so many problems there. It's not even funny, Brandy. When you really start breaking it down, how many of these methadone clinics are here? How they're just putting a Band-Aid on this thing, but maybe some of the penalties for somebody that, hey, like you said, contributed to that person's death. Could you imagine if they were found guilty of murder? What maybe there'll be some new precedents here. We'll see. Well, let's say quick hello to Jeff, and then we'll go to Eugene.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. Good morning, guys. I agree 100% on that with Papa Carroll. That we expect people that get put in jail in the county to quit drugs and alcohol immediately. We should expect everybody else to do the same. I agree with her 100%. But I'm glad the nurses are up here, Julian, Gene, and everybody. Thomas had another mild seizure this morning, so we didn't put him in school. But we went to the neurologist already 6 or 7 times, and they couldn't figure it out. So we moved from Lubbock down to El Paso, Texas, and they said they think it's ADHD. Okay, but they have not been able to put a finger on it. But this morning he said he was nervous, and we walked him to the couch, and he was discombobulated, and he's asleep right now. And just wondering, has anybody? It was very mild shaking, not a full blown seizure, but it seems it just completely wears him out to where he just goes to sleep afterward. Just wondering if anybody has some helpful comments on that. I appreciate y'all letting me up to speak. Thank you.
Well, I'll let Jeannie answer because I'm a respiratory therapist, Jeff. So I apologize. She would probably know more about seizures. I mean, I see them all the time, but she would probably give you more insight on this. So I'll let her go.
Yeah, I would. How old is he?
9 years old.
9 years old. So it sounds like a panic attack to me. So something is scaring him. And I would have referred you to the healthcare system at one point in time, and I no longer do that. the best thing to do is for you, Dad, to really spend a lot of time with him and talk to him and get him to tell you what's going on in his head, right? And then you start documenting what is happening. When do these occur? What's going on when they occur? How long do they last? You've already described that he falls asleep afterward. That's an extraordinary amount of energy that he's exerting during this process. I would probably, I'm stuttering here because I think we over medicate our kids. If you get down to a certain point, what I would do is then check in with neurology before I did anything else to see if he's got some wiring things going on.
Well, wait, Jeannie, that sounds to me now you're talking to a guy that I think, and I as of 55 years old, I still don't know. I may be borderline diabetic. And when I have a drop in food, or hey, I'm not eating correctly, I too, Jeff, in the background, I would get very anxious. My breathing would step up. I would sweat, and this was really a symptom of my body, dealing with the sugars that I just pumped into it, and then exactly, Jeff, I would have this panic attack, and then I would have to go to sleep. It would drain every ounce of energy that I had.
Yeah, so that's the key, is first documenting everything and then making sure that you are talking to him to try and understand what's triggering it, right? So it's either he's scared of something or something is misfiring somewhere. But
It's a misfiring. That's exactly. It's a misfiring. What he's doing, and he couldn't respond. But then when he sat down, he started to stop misfiring. I asked him if he was okay, and he said yes. But right then and there, I just laid him. He lay down. I put the blanket over him, and he fell asleep very fast. I think that's exactly what happens. And his grandma has to take Dilantin.
Jeff, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Jeannie, and Julie, you may have something to add. Couldn't dehydration also do the same thing? I know we're talking about a child, but, for that child to be, lethargic, like you're saying, that could be a symptom of dehydration too, but I may be wrong.
Yo, Marlon, you got a bunch of feedback coming from you when you're talking.
Still? Yeah, anybody else have feedback too?
I think it's because Jeannie's mic is staying open. Jeannie, close your mic when Marlon's talking. Thanks.
How about now?
Yes.
Sorry, Jeannie. So go ahead, Julie. Maybe you got a suggestion, but I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, there could be dehydration, but he would present with other problems as well. But what could also be that you're not seeing is like a full blown seizure would be like a silent seizures. And when a child, when anybody's having seizures, the first thing that they're going to do is check your blood sugar. They're going to check that. They're going to, check your oxygen saturation, make sure your heart rate is, doing, because there's lots of things going on. So there's lots of things they have to do. But Jeff, what Jeannie's saying is right. You really need to probably go to a good neurologist. Obviously a pediatric neurologist that deals with it, because that's different than an adult. I mean, children that have seizures, there could be lots of reasons, whether it's high fevers, whether it's, there's something going on within the brain. They would have to do extensive testing like EEGs and stuff like that. I'm not talking about throwing drugs on anybody, because that, like Jeannie said, that's the last thing. If you want to, can try to keep that away from them, that's the best thing to do. But I would suggest you find a really good neurologist, especially that deals with pediatrics, just to rule out that these things are not happening. Because with kids, things happen so quickly with them. And it could be very scary. So yeah, that's what I would suggest that you would do is you look and make sure that you're seeing a neurologist that deals with pediatrics, that deals with children.
I
Copy
guess
that. Thank
developing
you.
the baseline is, Jeff, I think probably the biggest thing is developing the baseline. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Julie and I, we rock. Um, Jeff, if there's any way, I can actually find you a good pediatric neurologist. Um, but I need to know where. I need a zip code. And so if you can DM me your zip code, I can find you some docs. To
Copy
talk
that.
to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is very concerning to me because we're making recommendations, and it's not that we're diagnosing and treating and things like that, but people are leery of the healthcare system right now, and they have every right to be. One of the things that I was gonna say earlier when you were talking about the fentanyl, that I had a friend who's no longer with me, but she one time said to me, my doctor so and so got me hooked on Oxycontin because she had Crohn's. So again, these doctors are prescribing willy-nilly without suffering any of the consequences of what they're doing. And putting a teenager who has an injury on Oxycontin, there are so many other ways to alleviate pain. The problem is it takes time and it takes caring. And that's what's missing. The care has left the building.
Where's the bedside manners, Jeannie?
Well,
You know what I mean? Where's the bedside manners?
well, you got people that are not in that mindset who are running the healthcare system. That's the problem. Yeah,
I would say in the future you're going to see little bits and pieces of this coming out, and hey, we're just the people to do it.
right.
And we are not recommending. We are not doctors. Although these people are nurses up here, we're not giving any information. We're not giving any advice. We're just talking.
Right. But and trying to be supportive of a father who is come on, let's look at this whole situation. We have a father who is suffering because his 9-year-old is, and who's helping him? Me and Julie. That's it.
Well,
So
I think maybe even if hey, you just expose them to the right crowd, then he can find somebody inside of your system, Jeff. There's a lot of work to do with that. So,
yeah.
I would say definitely behind the scenes.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet and go back to work.
I hate that guy, Bill, man. He's knocking on my door every day. We'll hang out, Jeannie, if you got a couple minutes. Thanks for coming up. It's a big day for the average view. Go ahead, Brain.
I just want to make sure we're all aware of what just happened. Jeff, I have to share with you what just happened. I know your last name. I know where you live. I know your son's name. And I know he didn't go to school. That's way too much information for the public to know about your child. I know you came up here to ask for medical advice, but I'm not doing my job if I don't point this out. We know all the information we need to know. On apps or personal information when you especially have grandkids or children in your home. I also know your son's age now. This isn't good, guys. Y'all please stop sharing information online. My heart hurts right now. I'm concerned.
Well, and you're right. You know, Randy, we talked about the level of addiction to it, right? You know, and I guess where really the hesitation comes in is really when you look at the evolution and who's the number one consumer, and when you cut that flow off, so they're going to look around and they're going to first only the person they. So I think, you know, with Brandy, you're right. You know, that is information that somebody could use in a lot of different methods to be able to find out who you are. And, you know, it may sound like it's overbearing, but you know what? It's true. It's the same kind of thing as your kids going down to McDonald's with all their friends, taking pictures or videos of just even the landmarks. These predators don't need to be following your child to be able to see this online interaction. Even with the land monuments just behind that child in that picture, that guy could end up profiling that particular child and knows where that McDonald's is. All he has to do is go and sit there and watch a little bit. Wow, now we're giving the enemy all kinds of info. So, Brandy, it's well eaten.
And I'm just going to say real quick, and I'll go down that if I had the right tools in my hands right now, I could find your location. I need people to hear that. I have a name, I have an age, I have a location already because I know the city from past spaces. Please, guys, just stop. I'm concerned with that. Thank you, Marlon. I'm going to drop down.
Hey, man, thanks, Brandy. Jeff, do you want to say something? Then we're going to stop.
No, I appreciate everybody giving some helpful advice. Appreciate that, Brandy. And, you know, I'm just so comfortable in the space because I know just about everybody that's up. I know everybody that's up on mic and everybody that I'm looking at right here, all 25 people. Sometimes I put a little trust and faith in people that I've talked to. You know, I've been in this space for a couple of years, and I consider you guys my friends and advisors in a lot of ways, and just appreciate the help and I appreciate the tip, Brandy. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if I can just say, you don't have 25 people, Jeff, you have 72 listening to you right now. And everybody in the basement. Just don't forget that.
Hey, Brandy, you know what? One thing that struck out to me the other day, and it's ringing through my head, is when you said the other day about when we were talking about the other subject about the 13-year-old, was that there are probably in most spaces there's at least 3 predators in every space that you don't even know about, or that may be up here with a mic. You just don't know because really, Jeff, and she's so right. Because just looking at little pictures on your screen doesn't mean anything. And that really stuck out to me, Brandy. And that I'm still thinking about that today. So guys, right now, there could be 3 predators right now listening in on this space. So you're absolutely right, Brandy. Thank you for saying that.
Well, and if I could follow up real quick, I'm sorry, Marlon, I just don't want to be misunderstood. I did share a number in a space the other day, but it was statistically according to the number of people in the space. Right now we got 76. Yeah, I can tell you for sure, not knowing who they are because I was called out on that too. No, I don't know who anyone is. But I can tell you statistically, looking at the cases that we've worked in sex trafficking, you've got 77 guests now. You've got at least 1 to 2 predators in this space right now. Yes.
Well, you know what? We've learned so much about it. I think we've done a bang up job in deflecting some of these idiots that want to come up here and try and change the narrative or really tear people down. And, you know, we've been through the mill, man. I have just zero patience for it. It's, you know, I think half of them know it. It's the best part. So, yup, hey, they can all, pound sand. Give him the old emoji with the dude's hands across and the chicken rock. Let's let's go to Sovereign. How you doing, Sovereign? Good to see you. Thanks for coming up.
Good morning, everybody. So I was just with Jeff, what you were talking about. One of the things I had to start taking was magnesium. I know a lot of people are deficient. That might be something you want to look into because it really helps calm the nervous system and the neurological system. And then you can even do some research into the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve sits at the base of the brainstem, and you think of it like the root of a tree. So that's like where all the neurological system, like that's the root for the whole neurological system for the body. So there's techniques that you can do, calming techniques. Just do a little research, look into, magnesium, because that is really beneficial. I was having like some facial tics and some other issues. And after taking magnesium for a long time, or just it took a few days actually to calm my nervous system after taking it. And I notice if I haven't been taking it. So I just wanted to throw that out there that might be something you want to look into too. And, checking on how to at home holistically calm the nervous system. Another thing too, I know that's helpful and beneficial to a lot of people when you're on that neurological overload. If you're in a nice, nice area where you can go outside, take your shoes off, just sit in the grass, maybe do some breathing techniques. That grounding can really help the nervous system and help reset it as well. So I just wanted to say that real quick, Jeff, and hope you and your son, happy and healthy.
Thanks, ma'am.
Well, hey, I do see, hey, legitimate people that do want to, help. They have a lot of information and maybe some of them will be classified as warriors, but kind of like experience. So, we've been through that, what may appear from the surface. Look, we've all been down the evolution of this app. This is time to concentrate on what we're doing, what we're focused on, where we can really make a difference. And man, we got a lot of herb. And putting some of the distractionary smoke out of the way, we need to make sure that hey, we're helping kids. And people ask me, yo, why are you there? If all this evil's on the app, why? Because at the end of the day, there are really good people here. And those are the people that I'm looking for, right? And you know what? Brandy, you've been on here just as long as I have. Julie, you're a couple of years behind, but, the evolution on this app, it gives me more of the patience to touch it all. It's like a time warp on this thing. Things happen very rapidly and they go away rapidly. So, again, half of it, I just don't have the room for it anyway. So, Julie, Gay, you want to say something? Then we'll go to
Yeah, there's a lot of good on every app. There's a lot of good on all apps. You learn things, and like I'm going to take for instance Facebook. I mean, yeah, it's great because you catch up with old high school friends. You also catch up with your family that you don't get to see on a regular basis. But then again, there's an evil side. There's bad things that happen, and the same thing that happens on here. There's good information that a lot of people get, but then there's very bad information a lot of people get, and if you don't research it or if you don't look into it, you might be bringing things that are not correct or that are incorrect to people that they're going to hear, and then they might go on and spread it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. My advice to everybody is that before you say anything or you look into things that you may hear in other spaces or that you may hear on the app that you might read, you either look into it carefully before you go and say it, or don't say it at all. Just hold on to it until you hear somebody that might be talking about it that knows what's going on, because that's how misinformation is spread. So there's a lot of good and there's a lot of evil in all these spaces.
Look, I know. I'm sorry, go, Julie.
No, that's okay. You can go ahead.
I know. At the end of the day, there was no evil in it, and that's the end of the line, and that should be the end of the conversation. But that's how much patience that I have. So again, hey, it's a great day.
That's why when I came into this space, Marlon, I wasn't even talking about it. I was talking about things that are going on in your own states that people should really be worrying about, and that's what this space has always been about. But unfortunately, this is what happens. It keeps getting things get brought back in, and I was trying to steer away from all this, but now it's here. So
at the end of the day, you know what? We'll be here, pick up the pieces, and move on. That's basically what we think. All right, Fred, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. I think this is a good example of something we've learned with several other conversations, right? And we're seeing we sometimes have some people on, on different sides of an issue. And yes, do we have some people that might act like morons sometimes and say some nasty things and this, yes. But the goal is to get to the cohesive high level conversation about whatever the issue is. Like with this, it's protecting children. I go back to when RFK Jr. endorsed Trump, right? And a bunch of us were in a lot of spaces trying to bring that coalition together, and there was a lot of nasty things that except for one specific instance I know of. Most of this has been pales in comparison to some of the stuff I heard said during that, because that was so large, right? It was so there were so many things said, very nasty things across multiple spaces for several weeks on end. Well, we started weeding that out and got to the bigger conversation of how do we bring people together and how do we get Trump elected? Because the other option was horrendous, right? It was Biden or Kamala, depending on the time of the election. And that's what I'm starting to see with this, with the good folks. It's moving to the higher level conversation, like the conversations folks like Brandy have been having this whole time. Way before this happened, of how do we protect the kids, right? And that should be our number one focus. And it always seems to work out better when we get it to those conversations, because then we can find some common ground, right? We might disagree on how to do it, but then people start listening, right? It's kind of like I'll end here with the last example that comes up all the time from different angles. Foreign influence in our government, right? If we talk about that overarching scope, we get some consensus. We get people on both sides that agree. Let's just get it all out. But when we get in our little camp and be like, oh, well, I have a problem with this person, I have a problem with this person, then we start fighting, right? But when we bring it to that high level of let's just get rid of all of it, we start making agreements. And that's what I'm starting to see some of with this, is it's moving more to that way of let's have the better conversation, take out this incident, and let's just have an overall conversation of how is the best way to protect kids in relation to this app and the broader thing online in general.
Look, we got things happening. We have real life behind the scenes here. And again, there was no ill intent. And at the end of it, they can blow it up all they want. These people come and go. If you just give it a little bit of time, they all expose themselves, and just sit back and pick up the pieces. That's all we have to do. And there should be concern. But again, you know what? You could blow some of it off too. So, look, I'm not in the queues, but again, I've seen enough evolution on this app. Time tells all. It's okay. Hey, we got to get up here and fight every day like we're supposed to, right? This is why we're marked with M's on our palms. This green energy thing, this fight is not over. They have so many billions and billions of dollars wrapped up in this thing. I need to get back on the horse, and I need to make sure I know exactly what's coming out of the Department of Interior. I'm going to find out before the end of the week. That's why we put this thing together, right? This isn't a Politico deal. This is something where the average person is going to get the average view or the average voice. That's what it's been about since the very beginning. And I don't know if you guys ever actually looked at my handle before, but it's the average John 911, because I knew we were in trouble. I knew the average Americans were in trouble, and that's why I'm on this app. Why, come up here every day, man. You think some of these days that I don't want to come up here? Oh, there's a whole lot of them. But usually by the end of the space, I'm more motivated coming out of the space and hearing from you people. And sometimes I need to be propped up. maybe we need to look at it a little bit differently. So hey, the grace of humanity, that's what I see. So let's keep the direction focused and looking at the brighter day, because it's going to rise tomorrow. We're going to have the same problem tomorrow of everything that we talked about, minus the drama. Miles, would you like to say something, and then maybe we can say a little more?
Good morning, everybody. Guys, before I retired, I was a coffee guy, coffee and tea. And Sovereign, magnesium in the water is essential. Coffee tastes terrible without magnesium. So we do need good water. We need minerals in our water because that's the number one thing that we're going to be doing all the time is drinking water. The filtration is important. If you don't have your reverse osmosis set up properly, people, would set those up and go, my coffee tastes terrible. And I went, well, you're taking out all the magnesium out of the water. So I just wanted to bring that up because you were talking about magnesium.
You know what? I like a dash of salt in my coffee. I think it makes it taste better. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. My wife, she hates it, right? So I gotta like sneak and put and put the salt in the grind. It goes through the brewing process. It makes it taste great. So hey, maybe we can turn and say good morning to Carmen. Carmen, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Marlon. How you doing?
It's a brighter day, dear. That's all we got to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is. I've slept at the police department 2 nights in a row because I was doxxed, and my family was doxxed. And there's, and people are, go in these spaces and add fuel to the fire, when nothing was actually said or done. So, I mean, I think the bigger, there is real life out here, and that's my real life right now. That's my reality. And the question is simply is children allowed on an app, and people come together in a space and they're talking about it, not even knowing anything else, but just speaking in general about a app and their children, should children be allowed? And then all of a sudden everything blows up and no one steps back to think, well, maybe this is the operation that's going on. Or maybe this is something that's meant to happen, but it is actually affecting the lives of people that had nothing to do with anything in general. But people that you think that are your friends are going in and adding fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? That's an upsetting thing. And then sitting there and allow people to say things and know that you've been doxxed, but not stand up for you. And I'm speaking about you, Jeff. So I'm just here, Marlon, because I've always had a lot of respect for you in this space. I've been a part of American Next Live from the beginning. But it's really sad when a woman gets attacked like I did for absolutely no reason, nothing, and other people participate in that attack and think it's okay. So I don't think that 13-year-olds should be on this app again. And I don't think that any child should be on an app like this or any platform that's like a war ground. It is disgusting to think that it's okay for people or influencers or anyone to go surround themselves around another child that's not theirs, control their DMs, all this, their control stuff, send them money, and expect no one to say anything amongst other adults. That would be incorrect on my part or anyone's part to not call that out and say we need to start looking into all of these apps and seeing what their terms and conditions are so we can protect children from this point forward. Having said that doesn't mean we're putting anything on anyone else. I'm looking at it at a standpoint of holy crap. I got a granddaughter coming up and I didn't even know this. So now a change needs to be made. But then I get doxxed. So it's just a sad situation. That's all. It's really sad because we really have to come together as a community. And the only way we can do that is through unifying and saying, no one said anything about nobody in particular. We were talking about terms and conditions in my space. And for that only happened for a few hours. And we wanted to make changes and kind of get to Elon on how can we make this change on X, and then we can take that same change, that same draft into it on Facebook and these other platforms to protect our children and our grandchildren from growing up and going onto apps that could possibly put their life at risk. Because if people don't know this, there's spaces that go on where they're actually masturbating in spaces with children on X. That's what they're doing on X.
Well, here's what I think as far as the sport. I unfortunately I don't know the story behind this. I really unfortunately I'm just so behind the people are in the thing.
There's not a story behind it. I'm just saying about like kids being on the app. Like there's 13-year-old on the app. I'm not talking about one kid. I'm talking about children. There's not a story saying that's what's happening on these platforms. And what do you do about it? There's nothing you can do, or is there something we can do? That's where the community comes in.
I think like Meta, came out and they understand the technology that these predators are involved in these apps. Let me just say, hey, Carm, I've been a supporter the entire time. And when somebody in the community is hurting, it's unfortunate, and people have different opinions. I don't, unfortunately, I just don't know anything about it. Let's maybe, I know Joe was wrapped, and let me get a chance for Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Welcome up. Good to see you. This is Wednesday.
Yeah. Thank you, Marlon. Just Carmen, a bit of advice. They brought my children into this. I will not speak anymore about it. I have retained a lawyer. The threats and bringing someone else's children into it is crossing a red line for me. So I have retained a lawyer. Jeff Stosser, your performance last night in their space, I have unfollowed you. You are subject to this lawsuit as well with your comments, and anybody else who continues to be doing this in these spaces. I suggest that we all stop talking about this. It's getting extremely serious. And I think that Carmen, if you just go radio silent, don't give them any more oxygen, and stop putting targets on each other in these spaces by continually speaking about it, they will not stop.
Oh, I agree. I'm with you. I don't. And I'm sorry. I'm at a loss.
I'll respond to that, Marlon, real fast. And I'm gonna step.
Jeff, hold on one second. Shell, thank you for saying that. Guys, this is not this space. This is not what this space is supposed to be about. Please. This is why I took a break yesterday. This is why I walked away yesterday. There was a lot of stuff going on. People are interjecting themselves into something that they shouldn't. So let's please move on, because this is not going to get solved here in this space.
Jeff, you want to respond?
Yes, yeah, sure, Marlon. Right now I'm in the middle of a workforce
Be
development
cautioned,
plan
it
that
is all recorded.
includes it. And I don't care if the lawyer's involved, have them give me a call personally. Talk. And I'm developing a workforce program for the kids between the ages of 14 and 20, because I don't have anybody to fill my hangar or my facilities up here in town and all down the Southwest coast, because we don't have anybody to work. And so that's the most important thing to me, is help train the kids up. And I want to get to the kids while they're young, before they get drugs, before they get alcohol, before they get women problems before they get adult problems. And that's my goal. I'm trying to run a business here. I'm doing a lease. I've got 5 business plans going at one time. I'm talking to heavy duty investors all the way up to Trump. I'm talking to everybody. We're dealing with some hectic numbers right now, Marlon. There's a lot of things going on. My buddy's top advisor for President Trump.
Seems to me you'd be too busy to go into a space and say the things you said last night. This is what's happening.
What did I
in your
say,
life.
Shell? What did I
To
say?
think that you would not interject in somebody who dragged my very own children.
So,
I'm
you know,
angry.
Shell,
I'm so sorry,
so,
Marlon.
well,
I'm
look,
very
no, no, no. Look. I've been kind of again. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't understand the metrics of it. But definitely, what we're not going to do is cloud the direction. Right. This is again. You know, I feel bad for you two guys. I feel bad that you've been wrapped up into this, and tell you're smart. You know, I am represented. Right. The organization is represented. I've known that there's been a problem here, and sometimes I have to look the other way. So like today, and I understand, you know, people want to have their opinions. There is accountability. I've told people in these spaces forever. Think of this like you're talking in front of your Capitol building, because anything you say can and will be used against you. I don't understand how this public forum, this evidence that's being put out, and we should be looking at it. So you know what? It's a good lesson at the end of the day. Um, for me,
I think a lot of the connections and people that understand where this space is. I think that people understand some of the metrics behind it. There's influencers there that aren't doing us justice. I can tell you that. But you know what? Again, I want to go back to the work that you've both done, right? Without the work that you've done, without the work, well, they would platform to be. You know, look,
Now,
this
Marlon,
blow don't
Marlon, you're cutting out.
actually
Marlon,
come out. I think now that you're, you know, represent art, ballpark.
Marlon, you're
No,
cutting out. Can you
I
hear
can see
me?
that.
Marlon, can you hear me? You're cutting out. Every other word we only hearing, every other word.
I want to apologize to the space. They crossed a red line with me. I just don't want it in spaces anymore. They are targeting anyone and everyone. I don't want you to go through what I have been going through. Carmen, I feel for you. Please, no more spaces about it. Don't utter a word. Don't give them any more bullets for their guns. Please, everyone, please stop. Just stop.
Shell, I haven't done any more, and I really didn't know anything about you or anything else. And I learned last night through a friend. So I've been praying for you and your family. I haven't done anything anymore on there. But Jeff discussed me, and how dare him come in here all innocent. That's all. That's why I was very upset about that. That's the reason things keep going, and it does need. And it so you're right. It does need to stop. And I'm sorry, Marlon. I respect you very highly. Respect you. You're a brother to me, but you know, to have people like that in a space that like yours and representing it, that like no, it's just not good. No, I'm sorry I even said anything, but I can't help it when someone's said what they said.
well, I heard it. So what? Right. Harm you at everything. I look at it like, you know, we're, we are here to stand, you know, with the community. Again, I think that a lot of this is going to blow over at the end of the day. So yeah, you guys are smart to be able to protect yourself, and we'll, it's a great day being American. Well, hey, we we have things that we've been working on in the background. They're going to be out today, and this has been a total. And you know what? I feel as though maybe we need to concentrate on something different, right? So, uh, and you know, continue this. So again, you might have every right because it's the community that's going to call it, right? So you know what? Up them and let's move on, right? That's about as close as I'm going to drop it. Russell, you want to add in?
Yeah, Marlon. I was just listening to the whole conversation, and I was what it piqued me was the 9-year-old that has issues and going to these doctors, and I just the way the medical industry is right now, I just don't trust a whole lot of them. A lot of these doctors, nurses, whatever, caretakers, whatever, were complicit in watching them um, create more problems than they were fixing. You know, I took care of my mother for 10 years as a, you know, I they tried to kill her a few times, and I mean, we just seen the other day in the news that they're taking out spleens instead of, or they're taking out livers instead of spleens, and I mean that's just ridiculous. I mean, even in my trade, we're expected to have more professionalism than that. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, what are you doing inside another human's body? And this is not a single situation, you know. But the other thing I wanted to mention is the magnesium and all that stuff. I've I did a year in prison, and I ended up getting a parasitic problem in my guts, and I don't trust the doctors, so I've been um, self-treating and changing and trying to come up things naturally to fight it off. And I finally have I think I've crossed a bridge to some better health without surgery, because that's all they want to do is surgery, you know, and that's just a get fixed quick type thing. And then hopefully, you know, I'm 65 years old. If they screw something up, then you deal with the quality of life for the rest of your life, you know. And I've got the guy that I buy my building from, he has veterans, you know, he's a veteran, and the veteran, every time he talks to a doctor over there, they want to do something to him so they can bill him. And they're doing stuff to him that I asked him, I said, well, your quality of life's good, you're getting around good. Why are you taking the chance on letting them put you under and you never being right again? Because, you know, my mother, the last time when she went and had surgery, she was never the same again, you know, and there was no reason to put her through all that at her age. And some of these people need to think, you know, there's other ways. It used to be that everybody thought about going to the hospital to heal. Well, in the old days, it used to be to go to the hospital to die. And I just feel like it's getting back towards that. And that's just my opinion. And I just wanted to break up what you guys had going on a little bit. And hey, and have a good week. All right. Love you guys.
Hey, you know what? There's not too much, Russell, today that could dampen my parade. I really don't. It could rain today. I'd still be happy, boy.
All right, you must have had enough money to pay all your taxes, huh?
Yeah. Usually I collect a check, and this year I didn't. So it's all good. You know, look, it's just less the amount that I had to take out of my pocket and pay.
Yep.
It is tax day.
Yep.
Regular people that have jobs don't really have to worry about this. You know, yeah, they rush to it to be able to get their form done before the 15th. But most of the people that you hear these tales of woe, it's because they have companies like an LLC or even an Inc. or whatever, you know, and they haven't paid their payroll tax and their FICA tax, and they didn't pay this all year long. So yes, that's why it's a deadline of April 15th. You know, they're accumulating everything from the last year. You know, that it's awful funny if they just did a little preventive. You know, it's unfortunate, but I actually prepay my payroll if that's crazy enough, right? And unfortunately, that's the way it's set up.
Right. Well, I just the way our tax is being spent right now, I just think that we need to file some kind of piece of paper. We've lost confidence in them and how they spend money, and it's all the way from the streets here, small town to DC, and we just got to keep pushing. It'll get better.
Yeah, we just got to pick up the pieces. I'm good, man. I'm ready to rock. I explained this before. There's a lot of times in my life, man, I needed to clear the table and I started over. I can't tell you how many times I did that. Hey, well, that's hey, I don't get paid sick days. I don't get a Christmas bonus. But hey, running your own deal, running your own small business, it's no small feat. This is something that really encompasses your whole life. The way that you were able to buy things, conduct business, small business, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's funny. People think like, yeah, hey, I just go down to the bank and write myself a check. And yeah, I wish it was like that, right?
Yeah, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. I deal with it all the time. I've been basically in business all my life. I worked commission for different shops all my life. I've had my own shop since 2011 or where I'm at now. But these people don't realize what it really takes. I've got a lot of people that, you can't always, when you order parts and you're waiting on insurance companies and it's just a mess, they don't make it any easier for us at all. And what I was talking about, as far as the taxes, the only taxes I'm paying right now is the occupational tax. I'm paying them for my tools in their county to be able to make a living, and my story. I'm a little cynical after the year that I was gone and how they did things, and I'm generating a letter that I'm going to take to the county tax collector, just try to bounce it off her and see what she has to think.
Well, taxes have been on, the Trump administration. I hear, some kind of resolve of property tax and, affordable health care. What kind? I could have a second house. If I didn't pay my property tax and my health insurance, I could have a second house because that's how much money it costs. Russ, you want to say something? Then we'll go to top.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying exactly, and it wouldn't be so bad if we didn't have all the social issues that we have in this country. They have spent the money incorrectly. At least we can call it that, and they continue to try to do so. Well, I find that we finally people starting to stand up and say something about it. We didn't go to January 6th, 2021 and go because we thought the election was fair. That was simply as we went there because we knew it was not fair. And here we are 5 years later, exactly what I told the FBI to start with. But anyway, you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you folks later.
All right, Russell, appreciate you coming in, man. Yeah, you think you got it bad, think about some of these guys. And I know Shell had a space with Mark and Derek Evans, the J6 community there. And, think about how bad they had it, right? So again, somebody else has it worse than we do. So sometimes maybe you just look at it like that. Go ahead, Sovereign. How you doing? Welcome up. Good to see you.
Hey, I have a quick question if someone can help me understand. So this is twice now Trump has posted about the FISA and the need for the FISA 702, but he said this twice now where he says, where is it? That by doing this, perhaps it could be used against him in the future, but he's willing to risk giving up his own rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military and country. Meaning if we get it, the FISA 702, he could potentially be giving up his rights and privileges. Can someone explain what the hell that's about, please? I don't understand. Why would he potentially be giving up his rights as a citizen? Anybody?
No clue.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I was hoping someone could help me understand what's going on.
I mean, yeah, but I think some of the conception of what I think, and Trump is going, and Trump administration is going into some of these spaces, and David Jose and these sovereign citizen types. They have taken some evidence and given it to the Trump administration. You have to realize that Trump is a state nationalist, right? So if you understand that possibly he's talking about, all of us conducting business with our government being a nationalist. And again, hey, we've had a lot of people through these spaces. They talked about it. I just feel in the background that we're going to get some of these things because now we're conducting business with a business, and they're going to treat each individual person. I think you're going to see the deductions out of your paychecks change. This whole structure may be changing, and Sovereign, he's been putting that out for years. This isn't something new. So that's my only guess, really, and it's not really in my wheelhouse per se.
Thanks, Marlon.
I think that's what he means. I think he's given us evidence that we all may be nationalists here at the end. Not changing a republic, just talking about the way we exchange for services in this country. Could you imagine a change like that? Go ahead, Miles.
Sovereign, are you talking about the FISA courts?
I think I would just, there was a post he posted last night and then now a little bit ago about the FISA, I don't know, something about Congress needs to pass FISA 702. And he's stating that if that comes through, that in the future could potentially, mess with his sovereign. I don't know. It's just really
Okay.
strange.
So let's go back to Russia. And we all know that was plan B to get him out of office. And they went through the FISA courts. Now, it goes both ways with FISA. But the problem was you've got these judges that are radical judges, and they don't even look at the case. Someone can bring a FISA case to them and say, yeah, we need to do surveillance on these people. And that's why a judge just said, oh, okay. And they bugged, Trump Tower and in New York. So he's bringing up the conversation that the court system is corrupt and our politicians are corrupt. So he is taking the slings and arrows for us right now on all fronts and to bring up these issues. So yeah, we talk about it and make sure that they're corrected in the future. So that's why he's talking about what Marlon was saying. It's about all of us. He's just the conduit out there to get the conversation started about these FISA courts. They're corrupt. So I think that's what he's talking about, because if you remember all the stuff that was going on with him, and I mean, in the long run, I think it's going to work out for us. But everything that Trump does is calculated. You may not understand why he's doing what he's doing, putting out certain posts, but we find out down the road, like, oh, well, now it makes sense. We don't understand it at first.
Marlon, if you want, I can add it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Cruz. How you doing, man? Go ahead, out in there. And maybe we can say hello to James.
Okay, so Section 702 of what's called the FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, if you guys don't know what that means. So, that whole thing going back to Russia, right? Section 702, it says that you cannot target U.S. citizens, right? But it was meant for basically military intelligence to target non-U.S. people that are located outside the United States for foreign intelligence collection. Okay. But there's little stipulations in there, which they say if they just happen upon a U.S. citizen in kind of the background that we just stumbled upon this. They manipulated the use of that, right? So when he's saying about we may lose or he may lose his rights as a citizen and he's willing to give it up for them, he meant if he passes or reauthorizes Section 702, but doesn't have any stronger reforms in it, because right now they can't use it, that could leave the door open again to future abuses or that backdoor query that they did. So even though, again, the 702 officially prohibits targeting U.S. people, the government can again incidentally collect the American citizen communications when they're interacting and targeting foreigners. You see, it's like a little loophole. So the intelligence agencies they kind of search or query the database using a U.S. person's name, email, and identifiers without even getting a warrant. Right. So the argument is that obviously it's allowing warrantless surveillance of Americans.
I mean, that was described inside the Patriot Act. Now, we all saw how they used George Bush Jr. and swayed Congress to really put this in effect. And really what we understood, we saw the manipulation of the FISA court. We saw it with Trump. We saw it with a lot of different cases. And when it was brought out to them, they're guilty. They were swayed by lack of information, lack of evidence. You know, there's a lot of things that really, that evolution of that FISA court really stepped on their own tails. And those judges, I don't think they've ever been the same since.
Well, so again, he was really referencing how the FISA authorities were weaponizing that stipulation or that 702 against him, because he's saying without putting in actual safeguards, any opponents politically, it can be used by the quote unquote deep state, right, and misuse that again against him or any other citizen, all of us, right? So it's kind of his rhetorical way of saying, I know this tool has been used and abused against me as a citizen, but I'm willing to accept that risk for the greater good of national security and the military, right? I'm hoping that's making sense for the question that was asked.
Yeah, thank you. That makes, I think I have this now. That makes, you did a really good job of explaining that truth. So basically the FISA 702 is to ensure that our troops overseas or in other countries cannot be spied on. Am I getting this right?
Well, it's saying that they can't use it to spy on any U.S. citizen, no matter where they are in the world.
Okay.
They use it to quote unquote spy on foreign people that could be a threat to the U.S. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But then while they're doing that, while they're surveying some foreign, potential enemy, and then that potential enemy is talking to a U.S. citizen, quote unquote, and then, they said, well, that was just spillover. I mean, we technically can't listen to it, but you see what I mean? So they're misusing their surveillance ability where you constitutionally you cannot spy on us as a U.S. citizen. So anyway.
Yeah, Russell.
Part of that, I think what he's trying to state is the law itself, as it was written, with all good intention, was probably the right thing to do. The problem being is we've had such a corrupt court system, and everything is everybody's seen for the last 5 years, that the judges were not clarifying and looking into any of the information they were getting to get the FISA warrant in the first place. And that's where it all started. It wasn't really the law; it was the people enacting it and using it. But that's what I see. Like I said, the way they used it against us, J6ers in general, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. They did things to us that Any other court in the land, we would have gotten nothing. I mean, we were watching crooks create treason and be complicit in our capital.
It's an interesting, kind of debate to go on, because again, we do have very robust foreign intelligence capability, right? This is why the U.S. pretty much stays safe and we're in complete power. You see what I mean? But
Why it's even more ridiculous, right? You're standing there talking to a James 6, right, where they manipulated all of this, staged this deal for J6, and the courts knew it. They have the evidence behind with Pelosi's guard, and and just the nilly willy of abusing it, and not, who would step forward to prosecute it at that point. Like this is the game, right? This is where they're able to hold it up.
yeah, and then you brought up the Patriot Act, which it's the complete opposite of the meaning of it. It should be the unpatriotic act of complete bullshit. You know what I mean? Our rights.
Yep. The way it was posed in front of America with George Bush standing on top of that rubble pile saying, we're going to go get the people that did this.
Of course.
And this is what we need to do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can compare it to World War II and a bunch of rights that were taken again, and FDR and that piece of crap communist that he was. You know what I mean? The rabbit hole, man. You start going down it, you're like, holy crap! How did I not see this?
How do we not see letting my state legislature push an amendment to facilitate $7 million for feminine products in the boys' bathrooms in the state of New Jersey? How could we let that go by?
Right, but again, we elect these people into office, and then they just push through all the agenda of the people who paid to get them in office with these stupid, silly laws that nobody even ever really sees or knows about until it's too little, too late. And then even if it's unconstitutional, then you got to go through the whole shit show of fighting it and getting it down. So there's more and more money and time and effort and attorneys, and it's a round robin. It just keeps going. It just doesn't stop.
It's exactly like I talked about the dog incident, where the two dogs were in the back of a county vehicle. The AC unit quit. The two dogs died. Right? They spent millions of dollars on this case. Defending the commissioner board is really what it came down to. That's where the costs come in. Right now, hey, I got my total local government all focused on this case of the two dead dogs, misinformed, misguided, using county vehicles, equipment, mulch. This is what we're paying for. I still have not heard the end result and how much money that case cost. It's an open and shut case. The guy should go to the clink. That's the end of the deal. Okay, Julie, and then we'll go to
and by the way, really quick, Julie Butte, Julie for Butte, she put in there about Section 702 and how it's supposed to expire April 20th. So that's why there's a bunch of debate and all that kind of stuff and disagreement. So she put it down the pill, I believe.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, Julie Square.
Yeah, no. That's why this brings it back to what I first was talking about when this space opened, how Dawn Fantasia from New Jersey, she's our representative for New Jersey 24, how she's calling this out, like that these are lawyers and they're getting away with, they're trying to change the Constitution and they're trying to change things that are up on a federal level, which they know they can't do. However, they keep continuing to do it because they know that it's going to take a while before this gets up to the courts, the right courts that are going to shoot it back down. It's the same thing with Spamberger, what she just did in Virginia about giving the 12 electoral votes for the most popular vote for president, not the what it was built for in the Constitution. These are the things that keep happening. Until the right people get in and they fight back on it, it keeps going down the road. And who's paying for all this? We're paying for all these court cases that are going to end up going to court because they know that they're doing the wrong thing, but they know it's also going to take a while, so they can get away with it for a little bit. And it's also to pander to their voters. They think the people that voted for them think that these things are allowed to happen, and they're not.
What happened, Lyle?
Okay, go ahead, Miles.
Yeah, Marlon triggered me when he was talking about Bush standing on the rubble pile. Guys, we've been screaming about the Epstein files. Well, because of my age and my connection to New York, I want to know what happened at 9/11. Okay, so the the pool. You know that they have the pool at Ground Zero. Why do they have that pool there? That's a cooling tower. Well, why do they need a cooling tower? What are they trying to cool? They're trying to cool the radiation from what they use in the thermite to bring the towers down. So I want answers on that. And it's probably all connected to the Epstein stuff anyway. I mean, that was a crime scene. I mean,
Again,
thousands of people
Miles,
got what? Go ahead, Marlon. Sorry.
you know what kills me about the Epstein thing is all this information. You have to understand who CIA actually was in control of this, right? And people want to drag the Epstein out. Oh, blah, blah, blah. There's some things that are missing. That DOJ from the Obama administration was in place all the way up and through the Joe Biden administration. So if you think that Trump exited these people out of the CIA during his first term, you're wrong, right? So at the end of the day, if they really had the evidence against Trump, and this is why it's nauseating to talk about this topic. At the end of the day, if you knew that the CIA of Obama's CIA had control of all the information, they had all the Epstein files, if there was evidence in there to convict President Trump, he would have never gotten elected in 16, and he definitely wouldn't have been elected in 24. So, it's more of the smoke and mirrors to take your attention away and listen to this nauseating conversation that nothing ever comes out of, Miles. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about the Epstein files. CNN talks about it
every day. But at the end of the day, it's their CIA that had the information the entire time. Trump would have never been elected if they had the evidence. This is all, again, just a fishing expedition.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that we're in control of the CIA?
No, I don't even know if Trump. I don't think Trump knows. I think Trump knows that he's not. Or maybe the Department of War has put a stop to this, and maybe they are in control of the CIA right now.
Yeah,
Now,
I think we are.
Hold on. The reason I say that is because the CIA was specifically pointed out in Epic Fury here. And especially when that airplane pilot went down, they used the CIA as smokescreen to put this out into Iranian news feeds so that they could steer them away from the pilot. I thought that was a great example. So in my eyes, Miles, I think maybe now we are in control of it.
Do you remember what Carter did to the CIA?
I was a young boy then. I was only 10 years old when he walked out of office, so not really.
Okay, he fired 1,000 CIA personnel. They went overseas. So I think this is happen again. The first thing that Trump did when he came into office, he went to Langley. He went up and talked to the CIA. That was in 2017. First thing he did when he went into office. So you're right. If the CIA was still intact and because they're independent from our government, they're a rogue operation. So I think that we've been in control of the CIA, and the bad actors, they've just moved to other countries. If you listen to Colonel Towner, she's done all this research on what the CIA has been doing from its inception. Let's put it that way. So
When most Americans understand scorecard and hammer, if anybody doesn't believe us, just go please read the information out of that, what that is. That's where the CIA has instituted this software for voting software around the world. And really where it came to light for me was during that Netflix Narcos, Pablo Escobar and the Narcos series there. They showed you how the CIA gave them the information in this software to manipulate that election in Colombia. That's the only reason that Pablo Escobar even got close, right? And then he was, disbarred out of it. But at the end of the day, where nobody even talks about that at all, Miles. So, hey, unfortunately, Julie, I cannot see any hands for some reason. I guess we're getting reported or whatever. But I got to reset it here in a couple of minutes. But I don't know if anybody's got hands up.
Russell had his hand up. I don't see it up now, but if Russell, did you want to say something before we go back to Miles?
Real quick, Marlon, just a reminder, there's so many people in here. Very few people have liked and reposted or bookmarked, so that might help.
Yeah, if you guys could go down and retweet it for me this way. Hey, so, obviously, the attacks start. It's okay. I have to laugh. I look, it doesn't matter what happens today. They're not going to ruin it.
I retweeted it already once. I just wanted to my view of this whole thing is that it started 100 years ago, but the 2020 election was it. We still got the same people. Not enough of the percentage of the treasonous have been addressed yet. I think that people are starting to stand up and say something about it, and the people that are doing it or were doing it or could do it are all aware that they are being watched. And I think that's the biggest thing we can do as a country and as a patriot, as an American, is to quit playing along. Because if you stand there and watch people do something that's incorrect, you're complicit. Whether it's, whatever that percentage may be, but you're complicit. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. I'll see you later, Marlon.
Thanks, Russell. Complicit, right? Well, it kind of goes right with the same thing where the captain went to Haiti to bring back the Haitian immigrants, got paid for every one of those bodies that came across. Do you think he should be liable for the same prosecution here? I think a lot of these people are really out there on the chopping block, and we just don't know it as citizenry. We're not hearing the insides and outsides. I do see the compiling list that Kash Patel keeps putting out. I mean, none of this is ever talked about. It cracks me up. So sorry, Julie, I can't see anybody. The only one I can see is
Miles has
sunlight.
got his hand up. Miles has got his hand up.
Okay, thanks again, guys. Look, I follow timelines and connect the dots. So we didn't understand a lot of things when this operation, fifth generation warfare, started, because it's way over our heads, right? So, but if you look at the timeline, okay, Trump goes to Langley. He talks to the CIA. He actually was making fun of him. Watch the video; it's still there. So then, if the CIA was an intact organization and had all the control, the Q operation would have never happened. The IP address was coming out of Langley. So what was a Q operation coming out of Langley? What were they doing? Telling us to wake up? That's not their modus of operandi. It's to wake people up and have us do all this information on all the corruption that was going on in the world at the time. So that just tells me that that was dealt with a long time ago. And if you follow Q, it's weird. It's going backwards. So the first Q post we haven't even got to yet. But if you're like around 62 or 63 drop, that's happening right now. What Q was talking about back in 2017 is stuff that's happening right now. Now, that doesn't make sense unless they were dealing with those things back then. So that's why I think a lot of this stuff has already been taken care of. And now we're in D class. and they're doing replays that they
Well,
couldn't tell us what they were doing back in the day.
Miles, the timeline does fit. You know, and like you said, it's kind of like foreshadowing, and now they're kind of going back to the that were in the beginning. Again, you know, it's unfortunate that the Q movement really has this narrative or notation or stereotype. You guys, you know, that's because it was coerced so many times. The message was warped. People manipulated that message. And if they just stood back and watched the information that was coming out of it, maybe we would have got a lot more out of it. And, you know, if when they come to years old now, you know, it's gratifying a little bit. You stood back and didn't count on all the promises that came out of the Q community. I think that's where they lost me. But it was an absolute informational stream. Nobody can deny that. Sorry, Joel, I still can't see anybody.
Yeah, that's okay. And then someone could go. He's got his hand up. Yeah, Miles. I also just want to say too. You know, I don't understand the keyboards. I like listening to all you guys that really follow it and everything. But what I do is I follow Donald Trump and what he's doing. And right now he is going full circle, putting Obama out there. Almost every one of his truths are something to do with Obama. So you know, I think that you are seeing these things come back. It's like a boomerang thing, and it's going back to what that first post was about. And yeah, exposing these crooks. Hi, Sunlight. How are you
You know what?
today? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julie, but you know what we didn't do is I wouldn't hang my entire life on the Q post. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people did this. And then they were listening to these people that came in and said, I'm Q, and they had big, giant faces about it. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, nobody was Q. If the PO was coming out of Langley years ago, well, you're right. You're right. I think, you know, hey, this has been ongoing for a lot of years. So let's see what comes out of it. You know, people are too quick. Oh, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Anyway, yeah, Joel.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just was thinking about that when Miles was saying that, you know, these things are coming full back around, and I'm just watching. Like I said, I follow, you know, what Trump says and watch his truths carefully, and it's just interesting to see now. Like again, he's bringing Obama back into the spotlight big time with a lot of different posts lately in the last day or so. So, yeah, that's what I'm just seeing. Hi, Sunlight. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. You know, so it's interesting. You know, hindsight is always 50-50, right? But I just wanted to share real quick, Marlon, that the big squeeze is on with Iran in the way of the blockade, and the squeeze is that their storage facilities are at 60% capacity. If they don't have tankers to offload oil to, the oil pumps keep going until that storage facility hits 100%. And at that point, you know what happens, Marlon. They have to shut down those wells. And if they shut down those wells, you know, without any like release valves or anything like that, you know, it basically creates a big issue getting them restarted. Their assets overseas have been frozen. The Gulf cooperation countries, you know, the UAE and Kuwait and all of them, and Qatar that used to launder money, you know, for the Iranians, used to, you know, house their top brass and their top leadership's offshore accounts out of fear. You know, it was kind of like a way that they would curry favor with the Iranians so they wouldn't get attacked. You know, and now that bail is off, they're cooperating with the U.S. Treasury Department in freezing these assets. So they're out of cash. They have no cash flow capability. Is creating a very desperate situation. So we'll see who actually has power within Iran. But they have about 2 weeks, Marlon, to maneuver and to make their decision as to what they want to do, because they're going to need to do something with that oil. You know, it's not like a grain store. Well, it's kind of like a grain store. You know, if the farmer doesn't like the price of the commodity of corn, they put the corn in a silo and they wait for a better time. But then there's a limited amount of time that they can hold on to that corn right before it spoils. And that's where the Iranians are at. It's been masterful watching what Trump has done. In the meantime, he also has pivoted. You know, last June he struck one of his big trade deals. His initial ones was with Indonesia, recognizing that Indonesia also is a choke point in the global trade thing through their straits. You know, commerce that goes back and forth between South Korea, Taiwan, China, Japan, all of that. You know, that flows around India. That's a big choke point too. So Trump crafted a big trade deal with them last June, and now Pete Hegseth just announced the other day elevating them and military status to a military cooperation status that is akin, is almost close to what we do with NATO. And so that entrenches us even further with Indonesia and that choke point. So we've got the Straits of
So wait,
Hormuz
so
covered.
hold on.
Yep.
Hold on, son. Like, isn't the best part of it is that realistically you took the Venezuela out of that equation. There is no more connection to the West. I don't think people are realizing what to think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. You know, the maneuvers and everything that this administration has done to exert American dominance. You know, for years I talked about this before, Marlon, how our Navy provides global maritime trade safe passage. You know, we spend $300 billion a year on our U.S. Navy, and we ensure that the sea lanes are open through the various canals and through the choke points and everything that we, confront piracy on the high seas and all that type of stuff. You know, and what do we get in return? You know, Trump is like, you know, hey, we have the Fifth Fleet anchored and Manama Bahrain inside the Persian Gulf. We're responsible for, you know, keeping the straits open, and yet the British continue to play games with their relationship with Iran and causing friction in the Middle East to keep that terror premium. You know, the amount that people have to pay for insurance of the tankers and any merchant ships that go through the Straits of Hormuz. They have to pay the Lloyd's of London Bank, you know, an insurance premium in order to get it through because of the threat of a terroristic attack or the threat of something going on, Iran popping off. Well, you take that off, and all of a sudden, $15 gets shaved right off the top of a barrel of oil. Trump has got this incredible plan, and you know the negotiations in Islamabad. He knew from the outset that the ultimate plan, leading up to the end of military kinetic confrontation, was the economic blockade. You know, because we're up against the 60-day limitation, Marlon, with Congress. So he knew exactly the timing on which to put it, and to give one last opportunity for the Iranians to screw up, so that he could put the economic blockade on them and choke them out. The choke point has become an economic choke point for Iran, and they're going to have to do something. We'll see what happens in this next week, Marlon. I have a feeling if there are any moderates or any reasonable individuals in their leadership, they're going to be sprinting to the table and trying to get a resolution. Otherwise, they're not going to survive. It's going to collapse 100%. And we hold all the cards. Look at all the oil tankers coming into the Gulf of America, right?
You've been seeing the same maps as I have, right? You've been seeing this traffic come in and out of there. Man, you know what? Obviously, I'm not there in that part of the world, but the amount of traffic that goes down around the Horn, I was surprised, to be honest with you, Sunlight. And then to Julie, I got to step away a minute. I'll be right back.
Hey, yo, Marlon, real quick.
Truth. I can't. I don't see Daz. I don't see Darren. I don't see him on my on here at all. So let me.
Yeah, he's in here. Taz, request a mic, bud. Hey, more good news though. Johnson just confirmed that Sheila McCormick, they're on Tuesday. They're supposed to have her expelled. The ethics committee overwhelmingly found her guilty of stealing all the millions of dollars from FEMA. So that's good news.
They're dropping like flies.
Yeah, that's another thing, Julie, is Todd Blanche, when he took the baton from Pam Bondi, you know, he comes out with his first presser. He says they have 8,000 fraud investigations going on coast to coast, and they're adding a prosecutor in every federal judiciary district, all 93, that will be 100% focused on fraud investigations and prosecutions. I mean, we're going to see some activity here, I believe, in the next few months on the fraud front. That's going to be, it's going to be such a relief for us that we that have watched the federal government squander, our treasure over decades, and we're going to finally see some accountability and on the NGO money pipeline drying up, which then dries up Act Blue and all the smurfing and everything else that goes back into the Democrat coffers. So in advance of the midterm, so hang on to your seats. It's going to be fun.
No, absolutely. It's interesting to see all these people either they're dropping out on their own. I think who was it on our side that just dropped out for the sexual assault scandals and the girl that committed suicide? He was having the affair, and then
Hernandez.
whatever. Yeah.
Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, right,
in Texas.
So I think we're going to start to see more, and I think this is the starting of the cleaning out that we're going to see, the ones that will voluntarily do it. And did we not talk about this all the time about how deals have been made, how things are done? And I think we're going to start to see more stuff like this come out. And, I want the fraud to be looked into in New Jersey big time. That's all I'm going to say. Hi, Miles, go ahead.
Yeah, but nothing's happening. Guys, I've talked about my sponsor, my host. I've been staying down in Texas. He's involved in the oil business. So if you want to look at his handle and follow him, he's got a lot of good information. It's Don't Bend a Knee, and you'll see oil rigs as his avatar. So if you go on his timeline, he's explaining about the gas prices. How does that work? So it's the futures. And as soon as the futures change, the gas station pays attention to that, right? And they have to raise their price because they have to make the money, because gas stations don't make any money on gas. They're convenience stores. They want you to come in and buy something, right? So they have to, without taking a loss, and some of them do, they take a haircut on the gasoline in the tanks. So they have to sell that gas ahead of time to buy the next shipment. So it takes a while. So the price will go down. It takes a couple cycles once the futures go down. So let's say barrel oil is $100.
Miles, hold on. You're misinformed though. Okay. Gas stations here, they make between 25 and 35 cents a gallon. That's their bottom line. That's how much they're able to mark it up when they're buying it from the refinery.
Okay, where are you getting this information?
Dude, I've got friends that have multiple gas stations. That's where they make it. They actually make their money on the way up, and they make money on the way down. So there's a lot of different ways that gas stations make money. But you're right, to get the convenience in there, most of these smaller gas stations have been bought out. Country Farms, Wawa has totally ripped that market. That's who's got that market spirit.
Okay, I'm not saying everything's equal across the board, but it depends on the tax of whatever state you're in too. So, but it's going to take a couple cycles for the price at the pump to go down. That's what he's trying to explain because of the futures. The oil business needs it to be around $70 a barrel. But I think it's going to go down even further than that. So you're going to have to wait probably until June or July for the prices to go down. That's all I wanted to point out.
Forget what the state taxes here, Julie, but we've paid several increases here the last year, 23 cents, 19 cents. It's really added up. Jersey be one of the gas-based or gas states in the union, and now it's one of the most expensive gas.
Yeah, no, I forgot what our tax is, but it just went up 4.5% with the last administration right before he left office. And Miles, what I've been hearing, and at least this is what some of the news stations are putting out about why gas is so expensive if we're not getting our oil through the Straits of Hormuz. It's these big companies that have to go through through this, and it's because even though we're energy independent, they're saying that the reason that we don't that the reason that the gas prices are so high here in New Jersey is because in the United States, sorry, is that because they cannot they refine a lot of the quote unquote like thick like bad oil. They refine that here in the United States. That's why these companies that produce, that sell the oil to other countries, it's refined over here. I'm not quite sure the whole thing. Maybe Truth is going to explain that or something.
So, Julie, so when they crack barrel oil, about 60%, it's really like 57.8% of that cracking process produces diesel. Diesel is much higher than gasoline because the world economy is driven on diesel. So that's why it's a worldly problem right now. So the demand for diesel is higher than it is for gasoline. Right now we're seeing diesel. I just paid $5.69 a gallon, and gasoline is I think it's like $3.69 or something along those lines. So the demand for diesel is much more. I don't understand it totally because the majority of that cracking process, when they spin the oil and they crack all these different gases out of that oil, 58% of it is diesel. So I don't know why the slack or logistics problems to hold diesel. But that's pretty much what I know about. Tim, did you want to say something?
I guess for each state, it must be different when it comes to gases. Because when I worked at Meyer, Meyer's kind of like best way to describe it, I guess, is like a mini Walmart in the Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan area. And I worked at the Indiana one in my area. And when they took us on the grand tour, when you get hired on, they told us the gas station doesn't make any money from the gas itself. That's why they have the convenience store part of it in front of the Meyer store, was so they can make a profit on top of that on the gas that they sell. So I don't know. Maybe it's different in each state. Maybe. I just want to point that out because I've heard what Miles said, and that's what I've been told when I worked at Meyer. But I wonder if that maybe it's different state to state, maybe, or gas company. I don't know. I just want to point that out.
And it's the amount of state tax on our fuel. If you add it up over all these years, it's really risen the price of that. And maybe some of the oil guys need a particular number to break even on the barrel of oil, right? But some are telling us that, hey, they're actually making money still down in the high 30s. So, how much of a markup is there? This sovereignty, this fuel sovereignty, this needs to be worked out. We should not be buying our oil, our gasoline on these international markets. We need to bring it back to the U.S. Anything they produce outside of the U.S., fine, you sell it for profit. I don't understand why they're continuing to let this happen. So, hey, I did get the space back a hair. So if you guys can go down and retweet it for me, I appreciate that. Daz, I do see you now. Daz came up. Good.
Yeah, Darren, I'm sorry. I couldn't get you. I didn't see you before, so I couldn't let you up. I apologize.
No need to apologize. Like, I do get a bit sensitive sometimes, but I've been here long enough to realize that sometimes it's the app and I think it's glitching. So I said the truth, like, let me leave and come back. And then as soon as I came back, then you guys were able to bring me up. So it's just weird that it does those things. It really does play mind games. And I only really wanted to come up just to show support. I'm not bringing back, what's going on, but, I actually got I didn't sleep last night. There's a number of people that I've heard say the same thing to me in the DMs. It was a lot, and I hope that everyone can just stay protected. I'm going to definitely be more vigilant. I'm kind of disappointed when certain things happen, but oh God, the thing that I didn't sleep. I go into another space in the morning, and then I'm getting crap for like supporting friends and being in certain spaces, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, if I'm not going through issues with people, Why are people coming to me and be like, "Oh, I saw you in that space," and it seems to happen a lot, and it does confuse me. But I'm my own person, and I feel like that's why I made sure I came up on this stage today to say like, I don't care. Everyone has their own different views and their own political, leanings and whatever. I'm not in America. I think you guys are good people. You guys always show me respect and love, and we've built a real relationship, and I feel a part of this community. So I've made sure I come up today.
Darren, you are a part of the community, man.
Thank you, Marty.
And we're not
And you
gonna
know
give
what?
you crap for having, beans and toast, man. I mean, that's we're still
And
loving you, even after that class.
It's the
yeah,
spotty dick now. Sorry, Marlon. I keep getting it from Smitty. Keep bringing up that one. I don't want to repeat it, but that is a dessert, and Smitty keeps throwing it in my face. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of crap.
well, Darren, I can tell you right now that I would never deny you a mic. I don't care if we see eye to eye or we don't, Darren. I would never, ever pull somebody's ability to be able to come up here. And I showed that my entire time of being on here. So please don't ever take it. It's with the app, dude. I would never deny. There's probably a ton of people that really did get offended. They're thinking that I'm not bringing them up. Darren, that happens all the time.
It happens a
I
lot.
can't.
I realised that, Marlon, I know you wouldn't commit to me, so that's why I said, let me leave and come back. As soon as I came back, straight away, I got brought up. So it's that.
Yeah, brother.
Hey, Marlon, I did want to bring, I know that you guys have been talking about a couple other things, but I really did want to I put it up on the top. I saw that you already reposted about what's going on with the American Rancher Alliance. I know we've talked about it extensively in here. We have Miss Casey that's been in here a few times. You know, she's a little down today, quite frankly. She has put everything into it, everything. All of her money. She is literally talking to us this morning to where she personally is at her wit's end. She's out of funding the whole nine, as she's been funding this herself. And everybody seems like they get behind it, they want to support it, but yet crickets as far as the reality of anybody actually going to the site and helping however they can. There's plenty of ways to help, but she believes in this, and her frustration is like when we have causes, whether it's hers or anybody else's for that matter, and people talk is cheap. It's taking the action, taking the step, even if it's a dang dollar, anything that anybody can do, because again, this really is a national security issue. Our beef supply is being hostily taken over from the big four packers. And right now they're trying the buyout. Prices for beef are the highest they've ever been. So a lot of ranchers are tapping out because they've been beat to hell for decades. So now the prices are highest that they've ever been to that these companies are paying, and that's on purpose to try to get the ranchers to be bought out completely. So I just had to say it because I had a long conversation with Miss Casey this morning. Her voice, she's such a spitfire, but she is defeated right now. She is, she's depleted all of her savings. She's put everything into this, and she really needs help. So
In truth, and DD was up here the other day, and I just invited him back up again. He two ranchers right by him. They closed shop, sold it all. Goodbye, it's gone. So yeah, this is a big deal that we need the community to even just spreading out that message, even just sharing it out helps a lot. So guys, if you see that post up top, share it out. And it takes 2 seconds to do that. And I know most of the people that are up here on the panel will do that, but down below, please do that. Just like when we ask for you guys to like and reshare the space, get it out there. There's things we put up in the nest, and that's why we don't like it cluttered up top, because important things that we really need shared out should be put up there so that everybody is aware of it and can do it. And here's DD now.
Hey, Julie. Hey, Truth, Marlon. Yeah, I know Casey's going through a pretty rough time right now. Um, it was a sad situation over here by me. We got two producers that one gentleman raised Belgian Galloways. It was nothing to ride by his house and see 75, 80 head of cattle out in his pastures. Another guy riding down the road raised Angus, and it was nothing to see a pig out there. They sold out completely. Got completely out of it. While the prices was high. Right now we're in the middle of a drought, but even down here in the southeast, fertilizer, this is the root. I just got through paying $2,700 for 4 tons of fertilizer to put on my pastures. It's getting a little bit worse. I hated the truth the other day. I missed the Zoom call. It took me 30 minutes to get on that Zoom call. My computer was so slow. And I wound up getting on that right at the very end. So, whatever folks can do to help, we need it. I mean, it's an investment in your future. That's exactly what it is. So, just like Tracy said, any amount that you can give, that'd be great. And I think anybody on this app has ever heard me ask for money at all for anybody. But on this one right here, I'm going to go on a limb and say, if you can go to the ARA website and donate, it's appreciated. It's a must. We keep rocking like we're rocking now. You can see the American rank. It's just that simple. I don't know how much plainer to put. You'll be eating whatever the hell across the pond is what they happen. And I don't know how to put it any plainer than that. Put it in plain words. You're going to be eating crap unless you go directly to a rancher, or if you raise it for sale, that's going to be a options you're going to have. So, there's a lot of guys, but it's going to be up to the American public. It's going to be up to you, consumer, is what you want to do. It's very simple and hard in French, but you can eat that shit from across the pond. You can eat homegrown American beef. There's your choices. There ain't no more. And for that right there, I'm gonna put my cows right back in Martha.
Hey, Dee, just so to clarify for people, so if you go to the website, which is great.org, if you go there, on top of the menu bar, it says support movement. So or the GoFundMe page, and there's also direct to ARA in the drop down, and it has $0 at default, so you can don't. It doesn't matter. That's one way. There's also a sponsor us portion where if people make the bigger contributions, you actually get a year's supply every month. They'll send you a box between 8 to 12 pounds of meat. It's dang meat. And as you go up to levels, there's like I said, several ways to help do this. But I'm saying, I don't know if people really feel the gravity of what's been happening. And we're at the tail end. We're at like do or die. Because like I said, done with our cashing out, and we're talking generational. And they can't do it anymore. So I know we've talked about it so much, but step it up, y'all. This is the time for massive action. This is it. And any counts at this point because the amount of money she's had to spend on freaking attorneys alone just to set this up to abide by all the laws and rules. that doesn't come for free. You know, the goal is to do the movement, and they'll start making the money when they sell the cattle. Well, you can't sell the cattle until you have all the logistics and everything set up. You just can't do it. You know? So it's a catch-22, but this is where people step it up. Like I said, go to that support the movement part, click to and donate $1. Anything at this point is going to help.
You're absolutely, and I got your passion. And I hear you, but it's just that simple. The American rancher is disappearing. The American public is the only ones that can do anything about it. It's just that simple. So, you know, if you want good quality meat, know what you're eating, then get behind the ARA. If you don't give a damn, whether your meat is chock full of chemicals and water or some dyes and all this other kind of stuff, then eat the shit that's coming from across the pond, because that's exactly what it is. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm just here to tell you all the truth. So thanks, Marlon. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we're not just talking about one pond. We're talking about Australia. We're talking about Mexico. We're talking about Argentina. You know, all these beef producers want to get into the American markets. You know, and then this is where, hey, you know, our poultry and our pork, that's already taken from us. You got to understand, CCP owns those Haversack and everybody you're contributing. When you go in there and buy that bacon, guess what? You're helping the CCP defeat America. So let's get our act together. I think just a little bit of a look at this, and sure, if you just kind of sparked a little thing, you know, we can definitely do some kind of fundraising for her. So maybe we should have a conversation and pull the brakes back and you know, start over. So I'm willing to help her with that.
Well, I mean, she really, it's the first time I've heard her sound so helpless this morning. She was almost crying because she has put everything into this. And she's like, no matter how many videos I make, and some of her videos, like, they go viral on some of the other platforms. So you're talking over 1 million likes and all that kind of stuff. But nothing, crickets, nothing. Nobody's doing a damn thing. You know what I mean?
But I think maybe, hey, we can go at it a little bit different. And I'm glad Texas jumped up, because I'm sure you got something to say. And Texas, I know you're over on LinkedIn and TikTok. You're TikToks, and you know, maybe you can throw a leg in there for us and get this ARA out there for us.
Yeah, appreciate it, Brian. Yeah, man, Didi, brother, it's not one industry. Every industry in America is under attack by pirates from other countries, bro. It's not just beef. I popped a link in the keel down there. Now, so let's go back to how long we've been doing this, and our stories have intertwined from the start, DD. That right there is the 8th month expose done by 60 Minutes from Rob Carpenter, which is an advocate for safety in truckers and the fraud and scam that's been going on here. That's dealing with Super Ego, and I know it's not the first time that we've came in and spoke about Super Ego Holdings. But, you know, this blew them out of the water. I mean, they're having really problems right now. Brokers are not loading them. Their loads are being canceled, which it should be. This goes back to the heart of the corruption and the fraud that's been orchestrated on American industry. It's not just, I mean, Smithfield. China bought Smithfield, one of the biggest pork and meat manufacturers in the United States. They own that. If you ever doubted anything we've been saying for years in this space, in other places, the places we've been, the people we've talked to, the things we've exposed, if you ever doubted it, go watch that 60-minute expose. This goes all the way back in it's the president of Serbia. So we know that the push for the Eastern European truckers to come into America and the visas and the asylum seekers from these countries over there. And that's the people these companies are employing. They're not American companies, but they have victimized their American supply chain. So let's go back to it. And we've been saying this for a long time, DD. Small ranchers and small American business need to support small businesses, and we need to get more involved together to get this done, because I know a bunch of ranchers that are not getting involved in that. They're not going out and hiring a local carrier because it might cost them a little more. They're putting them on brokers that are then giving the loads to these foreigners that are basically parasiting the American supply chain and costing Americans their livelihoods and their future. I mean, plain and simple, I'm out of a truck. I'm in a water company truck right now out here doing my thing, and I'm loving it. I was tired of the stress. I was tired of the heartache, and me getting up here and screaming every day for years and telling everybody what's going on, and we need the support. We need your help. We finally got a lot of movement from the government, FMCSA, DOT, Secretary Sean Duffy. But what does it take? What has been the cost? So if we go to January 2021 to November of 2024, we lost 600,000 American carriers. Not trucking jobs, not drivers, carriers, motor carriers that have failed to this kind of thing. Super Ego don't own a single truck. Every one of their trucks is leased on. And they've been robbing their drivers of pay, robbing everybody. The fraud, the stolen load, $750 million last year, the highest in history of fraud and straight stolen loads. Have our insurance rates spiked so much we can't even afford to operate. And now, instead of the government going in and holding brokers and shippers accountable and saying, hey, this is your fault because you're loading these trucks, it's before Congress right now to raise our minimum for insurance to $5 million. When is America going to get mad about this? When is America going to say enough is enough and stand united and change this, brother? It's going to take us all. It ain't going to. We're not going to get this done by hey, we're the beef industry. Hey, we're the trucking industry. Hey, we're the maritime industry. We're this. It's going to take Americans standing together and coming together to tackle this and make the change. Like I said, y'all watch that video. Please pop it up in the nest. I'm working right now. I'm driving. I couldn't do it. Y'all go back and watch that if you've ever doubted anything we've been telling y'all for years. This is the whole problem we're facing is industries, American industries and workers is because the corporatocracy, the parasitism from Serbia, Ukraine, you name a country over there, point a finger at it, and that's where it's coming from. India, Punjabis. I mean, just like Martin just sat there and named everybody dying to get into the beef industry from overseas across the ponds. Well, guess what? That's what happened in trucking. Joe Biden done it with the Trucking Action Plan. Jimmy Carter done it with deregulation in 1980. It's been a war on truckers. Gordon Gill just put out a book called Inside the War on Truckers. Y'all need to go read that, man. I've got the book. I've got a signed autographed copy of it in my house, man. But this can be applied to every industry, man. But it's going to take us all coming together instead of saying, well, we're the beef, we're the truckers, we're this, we're that. It's going to take us all to come together and say, hey, we're Americans and we're supporting American small business. And I'll park it there, y'all.
Thanks, Texas. I know you got a mouthful there, man. I feel that passion, and yeah, I mean the thing too about the beef industry, it falls right into the trucking industry. How do you think these cattle get shipped around? You know, it all kind of ties together. But we have a new speaker up here, Janny. Go ahead, Janny. Thanks for your patience.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm from California, and I am, you mentioned Julie from Butte, and I've been trying to help she and Ronald. Anyway, I just went on the site you said, and you said something about you can do a certain donation, you'll get food shipped to you. And I work with a lot of Patriot gals out here, and that's what we're looking for to get our fresh meat. And the interesting thing is when we buy it here at the stores, there's a Whole Foods, some of these, it's the worst meat I've ever had. And they say it's organic. and we're spending a fortune on it. But I've been trying to find ranchers, even in California, and it's been tough. We haven't figured out how to do it. So it's kind of timely that you're on here today. And I could not find the area on what you posted up here. I went to is it ARA? But
Yeah, it's goarabeef.org, and then it'll forward you to the longer address. And then
okay, so I saw where you can donate, and that's great. I'm going to do that too. But I didn't see where I could.
It's under
partner.
the sponsor us, under the sponsor us tab.
Okay.
And if you just scroll down, there's basically you can become what's called founding backers. And there's different levels. And by being a quote unquote founding backer, depending on the level you choose, you will get a year's supply of beef every month, a box of beef sent to you.
That'd be awesome. That's what I'm looking for. And just to let you know, I did click on the tab that said sponsor tab or sponsor something and didn't do anything. But I will try that again.
Yeah,
I want to let you know
us.
I'm trying.
Yeah, sponsor us and then just scroll down. It might not prompt.
Yeah, it didn't open. But I have an Android and we'll see if I can do it on a computer too.
Yes,
but I want to let you know help's coming from California for sure. Thank you so much for all you do. We love our ranchers and I love truckers. So thank you.
Well, you got to thank Miss Casey. If you hadn't seen her, I did put her profile there for you to follow as well. Watch some of her videos. She's just a little spitfire. She's a mama. She's actually just became a grandmama, but she's just an awesome woman. Has put her heart and soul and everything, her savings, her everything into
And how do I donate to her?
On that website. That all goes to her.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for taking my hand. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming up.
You bet.
Hey, Troy, can I jump back in for 30 seconds, brother?
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
Please. Yeah,
man.
let me get this out there, and I want you to understand what I'm fixing to tell you. So I've been an advocate for truckers for a long time. I mean, we're sitting on a group that's got 44,000 members. I got the ability to reach out to a huge section of trucking, and I've reached out to many of these small ranchers, the Good Rancher, and everybody I could find. I've sent them messages and this and that, tell them, hey, I'm a trucker, I'm a carrier. And I've got access to all these people. You know how many of them replied back to me? 0. That's a problem. Because I've explained to them, hey, we can save you money by you going direct with the carrier. You cut out the broker, you cut out the middleman. We can save you money and the trucker can make more money and support American business. 0, not one, has reached back out to me, man. That's a problem.
And that's the frustration that Miss Casey's having. Because, again, like I said, talk is cheap. People come up and go, oh, yeah, let's support this. And then nothing else, or they'll like and repost, but nothing. And it's not about the money. But right now, that's the big issue that's keeping us back from her officially getting it going, right? And the investment, she is looking for, if people want to invest to where they actually get a return, that's a whole nother ball game. We're just talking about trying to raise money. She's done a heck of a lot of ways to let people jump in there. But like you're saying, so when you offer solutions to even the ranchers, look at how defeated they are. We're talking decades of being screwed over with nobody listening to them, nobody hearing their damn voice. You know what I mean? And she's trying to be that voice. But like you're saying, when we get ranchers that sign up, we just get a bunch of looky-loos that complain about, well, when's it going to start? When are we going to get paid? It's like, whoa, slow your roll, dude. You're going to get paid. You can go do it the way you've been doing it. But the big difference with the ARA is not only do they get paid what they normally would when they sell their cattle, but at the end, when it goes to retail, all that profit goes to the big four. That profit with her system goes back to the rancher, so that they're actually making real money and able to sustain themselves and not just get by. Most ranchers are in total debt. Most of them got so many damn bank loans going just to survive, just to barely get by. So that sense of defeated, like, well, they don't want to put the effort into it. They're looking for a time like now. They've been beaten down so damn much that now this is where the solution, quote unquote, comes out from the big four. Well, let's drive the prices up. Let's buy them all out. Let's get them the heck out of here so we can take over with our less than par standard of raising animals and inject them with all this mRNA crap. You know what I mean? So it's a huge issue. And I'm glad that you're passionate about it. And please, Texas, reach out to me, send me a DM, and we'll definitely put that to work, what you're talking about. All right.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
It's important, and that's what it comes down to. Truth. I mean, these big corporations, they have that money, they have that backing behind them, and I think that's what scares a lot of people. They don't think that they can achieve these goals because they don't have that money. They don't have that. But with people's help behind them, just like when we were saying, when it comes to fighting things in your own state, if you have all the people behind you helping out, whether it's giving donations, whether it's spreading the word, whether it's really looking into where your goods are coming from and how they're getting here, just like with Texas, with the trucking, with the American Beef Ranchers Alliance. Like, if you really want to make things American and make it work for you, the people, then you have to get involved. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to, they want somebody else to do it. And that's not how it works.
Yes, there's a lot to it. I know that Don't Bend the Knee has been patient with the hand up.
Hey guys, this is an important topic you're on, and my topic is going to go back to the oil and the gas thing that Miles and Marlon was debating earlier. I've been waiting through oil all morning trying to keep the oil field flowing, and so I was having to drop down, take calls, and you guys are on to something that I think that the subject doesn't need to change. It needs to stick to helping the ranchers out. So I'll just say my piece at some future space. Thank you.
No. You can talk about it. We were talking about it. It's just that the space will be closing soon, and Truth just wanted to get that out there. But you can. This space is unfortunately very fluid. You can go back to
Hey,
something if
Julie,
you want.
Julie, I just want to jump in. If Texas Trucker, I DM'd you my contact information. I want to talk to you about the trucking industry. I have an idea. I want to run by you.
I can't jump on there right now, brother. I'm at work, but I'll go over and check it out when I get off.
Sure, anytime.
Thanks, take back. Go ahead. Don't go ahead.
I'll have to be real quick because I've got we got a flowback problem in the well that I got to jump back on another meeting here in a minute and try to resolve it. So I'm just gonna make some points. You can accept them as fact or you can refute them either way. Don't really matter. Truth's truth. So we'll start with diesel. Look at the tax on diesel. The theory is that trucks speed up the road more, so the highway tax on diesel is higher. That's normally the reason that diesel is priced higher. Has nothing to do with the processing on diesel. Just look how much tax is on a gallon of diesel. Profit margins for the gas stations. If you look at net profit margin, they make about 1 to 2%. Irrefutable fact. You got to understand they have cost involved in having that gas there. The infrastructure typically doesn't belong to them. The pumps, the pipe, and the tanks in the ground doesn't belong to them. They're paying a lease to have all that equipment now.
Oh, did we lose him?
So they got a call.
You're cut off.
It's the oil. Yeah, I had a call coming in. The oil field's just it's a mess right now in the oil field. We hate boom cycles. I particularly hate them with passion because of this. So I stay on the phone 24/7, and Miles can attest to that. He lives close to me, and he knows my routine. So anyway, getting back, the profit margin, net profit, and ask Gord if you believe me, what's that profit margin on a gallon of gas for average C-store? You'll find it's 1 or 2%. They're loss leaders to get you in the store to buy their junk. And I've made multiple couple posts on this. You can go to my page and look at it, and maybe it will help people understand a little bit more as far as what price per barrel it takes for an oil company to make a profit. It does vary. Marlon was right there. It does vary. Like EOG Resources is probably the most lean, efficient operator in the oil field. And EOG in certain plays, they can still turn a profit at $35 a barrel, right? But that's like in the Eagle Ford play in South Central Texas. They probably do make a profit at 35 because they are so lean and so efficient. And I know none of you have ever heard of EOG, but trust me, EOG they're a mammoth in the oil fields. You just don't know them because they don't own gas stations, right? But they are a producer who's a big swinging, whatchamacallit, between their legs in the oil field. They can't make a profit in the Bakken at that. They can't make a profit in the DJ at that. They can't make a profit in the Marcellus at that. So you got to do apples to apples or go with an average. And the average price in order to reinvest, not for existing oil wells who are already producing, but if you want to drill a new oil well and you want to get it fracked and you want to get it in production, you can't. The average producer cannot do it for under $70 a barrel. Okay, it's just the facts of life. That's where we need it to be. If you want continued investment in the oil field, you need to be paying $70 a barrel to get the continued investment and to bring new wells online. That's what it takes. Now, EOG can do it for around $65 on average across all plays because they are so efficient at what they do. If you don't have EOG stock, why don't you have EOG stock? And I'm not giving financial advice, but they are the most efficient at what they do. They are a debt-free company, and they'll be around whenever everybody else is gone. So just throwing that out there. However, Continental can't do that. Plains can't do that. Chevron can't do that. None of them can do it. They got to have $70 a barrel on average across all plays, or they can't produce new wells. Nobody's going to produce a well to lose money on it. Okay, so $70 a barrel is the sweet spot, the average across all plays that the price of oil needs to be for us to continue to grow in the oil field and to replace the wells that are going offline. So you need to be paying for a gallon of gas the equivalent to $70 a barrel. And then the last point I had was taking the domestically produced oil off the international market and just producing it here and pricing it here and not having the futures market dictate the price of oil. Okay, that's fine. I can get behind that. But guess what you just done? You just done away with the petrodollar. You just done away with the dollars being the leading reserve currency in the whole world. So there's a lot more that can happen whenever you lose the reserve currency status in the whole world, which is probably going to happen in the future. So why not now? Why not now? We just take all of our oil off the NYMEX and we quit selling our oil on the futures market, and you let free market take over in the domestic side and tell the rest of the world to pound sand. Okay. I can't see how that's going to actually help the price. I really don't. And then the last thing, yes, we produce more oil than we consume. We are now a net exporter of oil, but there's different kinds of oil. You have a light sweet crude out in the Permian, and most of the oil that we produce is light sweet crude. There is some paraffin wax crude that's produced in Utah. We have other high gravities, low gravities, sweet and sour crude. But all of our refineries on the Gulf Coast was set up to crack the oil, the dirty oil coming out of the Middle East. And actually, they were set up to crack the oil coming out of Venezuela before the communists took over those oil fields. We can't crack our oil. We can't turn our crude, our light sweet crude, into all the products that we need without having some of that heavy crude to blend in with it, right? That's why we still bring crude in from other places. That's why we wanted the communists out of Venezuela, and we wanted back the investment that we had put into that oil field down there, because that is heavy crude. That is sour crude, and we need that sour crude to blend with our light sweet in the refining process. Yes, you could build a new refinery. Anybody got about you know, I don't know, $300 billion to put into building a new refinery. Yeah, you could convert our existing refineries just to be able to process our light sweet crude and not have to blend the heavy crude in. Anybody want to throw $10 billion into redesigning the refinery to do that? Nobody does. I'll go one step further. That was the purpose in the Keystone XL pipeline that they killed. We were going to bring that tar sands crude out of Canada into the Gulf Coast, particularly into Channelview, South Houston, and we were going to use it to blend. Of course, they killed the Keystone Pipeline. We can get into all that at some future time when everybody has more time. It had nothing to do with the environment, guys. It had everything to do with money. So anyway, that's just my take. I'm out here wading knee deep in crude right now, and I'm usually ankle deep in refined fuels. So take me at my word or don't. Gork whatever you want to gork to verify what I've said. I'm just trying to put the Thank you for letting me come in and speak. I'll drop down. I've got return calls. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you for explaining all that. I really appreciate that. That's very makes it more understandable of what's going on with us and why the prices are so high at the pump. Thank you so very much for coming up and doing that. Who was next? Truth Miles or Jeff?
Hadn't heard from Jeff G.
Okay.
Hey
Sounds good.
guys, good morning. Glad to be here as always. Great group, lots of great topics. Marlon, you know I come in whenever I can, and I support you guys 100% in spreading your messages. Before Bended Knee gets out, I'd like to basically, I'm not trying to purge him. I'm trying to invite him into another space because this man, I listened to him last week in Wall Street Meets Main Street. He is a guru on the oil business, and he explains it very well. I would like to have him come in, if I may, invite him into the Punch Bowl, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. We talk about oil quite a bit in there, and I know that your knowledge, sir, would be very well received.
Okay. Well, this isn't Punch Bowl though. This is.
I understand. I'm not trying to purge the man. I'm just trying before he leaves out of here. And I'm not promoting any space. I'm trying to get this man directly to see if he has time at some point to come into there.
Hey, Greg, or is it Jeff? Hey, Jeff. I'm staying with Don't Bend a Knee, and he, like he just said, he's on calls, especially right now, until at least after 11 o'clock in the morning. I mean, he's vital to the company that he works for, not the Punch Bowl. So, and I don't even try to contact him and talk to him. And he's also building a house for his wife. He's building a new house. So, yeah, he's a great source of information. I get it, but his time is very, very valuable. And I'm sure that
I meant to offend nobody, so if it came across that way, I apologize.
No.
Marlon knows what I'm
I
trying
just
to
wanted
say
to
and what
give
I'm
you
trying
the
to
four,
do.
I just wanted to give you the 411 as far as what Don't Bend a Knee is dealing with right now. So that's
Understood,
all.
sir.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So yeah, send him a DM, follow him, and hopefully he'll
I
follow you.
followed him. I just didn't want to jump into his DMs is all, guys.
All right. Well, I know Marlon was talking about closing her down relatively soon. Marlon, you still there, or are you in the post stuck land? What's going on?
Did he step away for work? Because that could be possible too.
He might
But
have.
yeah, so again, great topics today. I mean, again, stay local. This is the important stuff that is going on, that while all these big things are going on and yes, they do trickle down to us in the big time when it comes to certain things, we have to still pay attention to our own backyards and what's going on in these areas, because if we don't, we're going to lose that at all. And because you know, it's being taken care of up there federally, but you've got these states that are coming around as these governors that are, you know, putting into law and signing things and that are not constitutional, that can be fought with, that can be dealt with. And it takes us, the people, to deal with that problem. So where is the Marlon? He's back.
Sorry about that. The guy, man, work. Drywall guys get such scrutiny. I have to tell you, every time there's a little spot. Oh man, you missed this, and I didn't miss anything. Somebody else came in and did it. Drywall's like an open wound. That's what it is. Texas, you want to say something?
Yeah, real quick, man. So I've been listening and I've jumped in a couple times. So seemed like there was some offense taken to that other gentleman asking that other guy if he would come in. But let's go back, Marlon, and you know as well as I do. So the impact we had with the Take Our Border Back rally, how did that come about? It wasn't just sitting here and We Are the People. Now, we was in here and We Are the People every day, me and Texas Red and others, promoting and telling everybody what we was doing and what was going on, why, if and what for. But the way we was impactful was jumping spaces to space, the Punch Bowl, American Mission, the Patriot Spaces, Golfing Frog. So we was in everyone, and it was exhausting, y'all. It was 2 or 3 months of a just beat down every day, working every day, going in spaces, dispelling misinformation and disinformation, and letting people know what we was actually doing. So don't take offense to this gentleman saying, hey, will you jump in and talk to these people? Because that's a different set of people than what we have here. So if you go in there and you tell them people, and then you go somewhere else and you tell them people and they're interested in, they tell somebody else, and that's how these movements and these things grow. So I just wanted to point that out.
Texas, you and me have been friends for a long time, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Agree.
hey, Jeff, good to see you, and thanks for popping up. And
Always good
you know
to
what,
see you
Jeff,
too, Marlon.
you out of most, you know, you've been here since the very beginning. You know, you watched all these spaces come and go, and you know, and that's what's going to happen here. You know, whether or not, hey, there's a disruption here, we're going to pick up the pieces and we're going to move forward. That's basically all we're going to do. And,
You know that I'm not going to purge anybody.
So, yeah.
I'm here to support everybody. I attend spaces most of the day, and I support all of you guys, all of you, and love all of you.
I appreciate you, Jeff. Thanks.
Marlon, you and I know this, brother, that we don't want to live in an echo chamber. And we know a lot of the people that's been here from the start, you know what I mean? But it's important that we reach out to other platforms and other people as well. And that's all I'm saying.
We're dumb if we don't. If we don't utilize the tools, and I believe that's what we're building in the background. So step by step, brick by brick. That's just basically how it goes. Nothing is overnight. Nothing is instant gratification. Let's get that out of our heads. We got a lot of work to do. So, hey, we're not down to the end of it. Shoot, do you want to throw anything out? I know, hey, you had your Bible study last night. I know Saturday you have a prayer for the nation at 8 a.m. East there. So you want to jump that out, it'd be great.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we do a Bible study every week, Tuesdays, like you said, 7:30 Eastern in the evening. We're currently in the book of Romans. We've been doing this a couple years now. So that's under the handle at Studying God. None of us are preachers or anything like that. We're just regular folks, and we just read the Bible, read God's word, and do our best to go verse by verse and interpret it. That's pretty much it. And then every Saturday morning, the same handle, again, at Studying God, we do a weekly prayer for our country. We were called to do so that's what we're doing. And, you know, just easy, good fellowship spaces. Everybody hangs out. By the way, when we were talking about the American Rancher Alliance, I did want to just shout out, I won't name names, but so far 4 people actually went to the site and made a contribution. So it is greatly appreciated. It all goes
to the ARA directly, to Casey, the company, and everything helps. So for the people who stepped up immediately, thank you. That really makes a difference. Everything. So.
Oh, that's what it's about, right? So let's just keep pumping it out. Hey, she has our support. She's had our support since the very beginning. Let's just come up with another plan, and she'll get through it. So, and I'm game to help. And I've been there since the beginning. So let's just keep pushing it out. And Texas, I wouldn't mind just leaning on you, and maybe we could do a TikTok live and bring them people in. That would be cool. I'd be down for that.
Anytime you're ready, just let me know as long as I got time, bud. Truth on what you were speaking about, man, y'all continue to play for my father-in-law. He's got a triple aortic aneurysm. They're trying to go in and do surgery. Luckily, none of them's ruptured yet. They was going to go in and do surgery the first day. His name's Dick, by the way. If y'all want to pray for him, please do. And he had a kidney infection, so they wouldn't do surgery until they took care of the kidney infection. Well, the next day they had to move him to ICU because he started vomiting blood, and they're trying to figure out where the blood's coming from. So they put the surgery off again. So he's a ticking time bomb laying there in ICU in the hospital. He's 75 or 76 years old. So any prayers would be greatly appreciated for him, y'all. Here's a sad thing, and I love it, but it's the sad thing. I put something up on trucking, I get 8 or 10 views, and but I did reach out for prayers, and it's over 40,000 views. So that tells you people's hearts in the right place. But we need to get engaged on the other things that are important as well. But I appreciate y'all, man.
Hi, Texas. So, yeah, my prayers definitely for him. I hope that they get to the bottom of this. My question that you might want to ask with the vomiting blood, especially if he's got an aortic aneurysm, he may already have a slow leak, and that's why he's vomiting blood. Also, find out if he's on blood thinners, or even if he's taking a daily aspirin. And that they're right now monitoring that, if not, stopping those kind of things, especially when you have an aneurysm. So those are things that you can ask about the doctors. It could be a slow leak, or it could be because he's on a blood thinner. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that in there for you.
And prayer does work, everybody. If you all know.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Hey, Texas, you're breaking up there, bud. Texas, can you hear us, buddy? You're breaking up. Hey, Marlon, Miss Casey came in here. She came in here last minute. She's been in meetings all morning. So, Miss Casey from the American Rancher Alliance is here.
I think she just dropped.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, the day's not over. We could definitely get that out. I'd love to have her maybe come in tomorrow, and she can kind of splash us, or if she comes in last minute, I'm more than game to put her on.
Marlon, she's back.
Oh, perfect.
Go ahead, Casey.
So yes, hey Casey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Oh, she was in here, and she's texting us now saying something's going on. Like, keeps kicking her out. We're gonna try one more time. Let her come back.
See, that's what happens, man. We get a lot of people in here. I think half of the people that come up and request, I don't see them. I can't see her. I haven't seen her the whole time.
Yeah, no, she just was trying to get in here before you ended the space, and something like we all know, like happened to Daz. Something's going on, So I know you're trying to cut it loose. If she can try to get in here, we're texting back and forth. We're to try it again. That's all.
Is anybody there? I can't hear anybody now.
Yeah, no, we're still here. She's just trying one more time. And hey, Carmen, I didn't even notice she was down there. Hey, Vegas, Apothecary, all the great people.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
tried to reset it. I can't reset it. So
It's okay.
unfortunately, hey, yeah, I'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, you've got conservative mama.
So,
by the way.
hey, Julie, thanks. Yeah, no problem. So, Julie, thanks for coming up, co-hosting.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, guys. One more time, like and share the space. Let's get it out there. A lot of good information came out today. I was very appreciative of don't bend the knee for his explanation on what's going on with the gas companies, with the oil and stuff like that. Again, guys, take care of your backyard. Take care of your own states, because there's lots that are going on. And pray for Trump and pray for our country, and God bless America. Thank you.
I see Casey's up here now. Would you like to talk, Casey, before we close it up? Just dropped again.
Dang it.
Anyway, well, thanks for coming in. Truth, I appreciate it. Casey, we'll get you in there tomorrow, so we'll start out nice and early. So I'm sorry for the hassle about getting up here. And probably a lot of people experience the same kind of thing. When we get some people in here, it's even harder to get our regulars up here. So, hey, what you can do is please retweet the space for me.
You had conservative MAGA with their hand up. I know you probably can't see it, Marlon, because the space is.
No, I can't. Go ahead, conservative. You want to say something quick?
Yeah, real quick, just everybody get out there, call your senators today. I know I've been on the horn about this and all that. I know Jay Gatling that does Main Street versus Main Street meets Wall Street. I know he's been really on that and been doing a little podcast on his actual calls and stuff like that. So if we don't get the Save America Act, I think we're going to be in dire straits before our next election. So I know you guys were talking about cattle and beef and stuff like that. I will try to get into that website and also support you, because my wife is already pissed off at me for giving too much money to everybody. Well, actually, her money. But I showed it. Hey, don't worry, honey. I'm giving you a legacy too. But anyways, I think it's really important. I search and find people that grow their own cattle and do it right. So I'm just listening in. I think it's a good thing. But again, I want to reiterate, Save America Act. Get on the horn with your senators today, right now. If you got time to be on Spaces, and I don't have any time, but I'm here speaking to you. I'm taking time out of, I need to be over there and talking to this guy. But it's really important that we do take a little bit of time. If you don't have the time, just take a little bit of time, call that senator. It takes about 5 minutes to get in there and talk to him. So I appreciate everything that you guys are doing to do that. So I think Save America Act will get actual voters. And I think there's more of us than there is of them. More people that love this country, that want to, instead of transforming it into something we don't want. God bless you all and have a great day.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Marlon, I know Julie got dropped down. By the way, Miss Casey just texted. She said, look, she's got time in the morning tomorrow. She'll come in here. So if anybody wants to hear directly from her, ask questions, particularly to what the whole thing is all about, please join us again tomorrow, please. And she just made a post, I think.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, maybe what I'll do is I'll schedule that and maybe put her handle in there. So yeah, we'll get that out tomorrow. Hey, do keep an eye out for the Average You magazine that's coming out today. Dee Dee's in there. Dee Dee, wait till you see it, man. It looks great. So we got a lot of people adding in a lot of brings to the community for sport. So look out for the link today. I appreciate you guys coming in with the conversation today. Some things were worked out, and I think we're looking on. So that's kind of what from the space. So hey, man, God bless America. Have a great rest of your day. Don't work too hard.